board meeting. All members present, the public. And we've got the minutes of the meeting of January 10th, 2012.
I have the 10th, I didn't get it. Someone take the 10th, make a motion to accept.
For the motion, do I hear a second for the January 10th?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The January 22nd, 2000 meeting, 2013 meeting. I wasn't here for this. I was sick that meeting, but so I will abstain on the vote.
Take a little while to read this one.
Alrighty. I wasn't here for that meeting.
We're putting on as old business, so we can bring it up again, all right, on the agenda.
I wasn't at this meeting of the January 22nd, but I don't believe this number is correct. 22,570.47 for the state supply material for the gates.
2,500.
Yeah, sorry, we'll make a change on that.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's an
What
extra
page
two
was
in
that
there.
on, Scott?
Excuse me?
What page was that on?
Page 4,
Okay.
5, actually.
Yeah, page 5. At the
About 2 inches down from the top.
Oh, okay.
Do you need some chairs back there?
No, I'm all set.
I think we ran out of chairs. Oh, there's one right next to it.
I'm all set, thanks.
Do we have a number for that?
Uh,
I'm trying to find it for you.
Oh, you are?
yeah, is it $2,570?
Hang on.
I think she added another 2 in there by mistake.
There it is.
570.47.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Jack.
can I ask Mr. Ricker, you were at the last meeting, you chaired the last meeting. What we're talking about, discussing in front of you right now, what are we, so the public knows what we're
Well, this
changing
is-
here?
This is just a typo, Jack. It's
On what now?
an error in the
For the
minutes.
state supply, they got it down as 20,
Well, what was the
22,000 is
what was the
25.
purpose for that? The bill for, that's what I'm just asking is,
for the material, for the gates.
for the gates. Thank you.
Yeah.
What was the figure?
2570.47.
2,570.47? Yeah,
Thank you.
it's in the minutes, Jack, it's 22,570.
Okay. But we don't see the minutes, it's only you board
Yeah.
members that have it,
Yeah.
just for the public to
Yeah.
know what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Kind
just
of important, I think.
It looks just like there's an added 2 in there.
So,
I will make the
I-
change.
You
I'm
make
all-
that-
I'm all set
with that amended, do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
I make a motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain, because I was not here for that meeting. Item 2 on the agenda, the joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen.
Where's
Um,
the agenda?
I,
My
Right
page
on
is
the
the
front,
folder.
right on the top.
Okay.
I had,
I don't know if you had an opportunity to see
I was
that.
not able to attend last night's meeting, as to, I did have a doctor's appointment. Kind of hard to get, and it was later at night with Dr. Bayer over in Ipswich, but he does hold nighttime office hours, so I was able to get in to see him. So I haven't been feeling good last few weeks. But I did send an email to, in response to Mr. Ricker and Mr. Toomer's letter to me dating January 22nd, 2013, which I'd like to read. Dear Mr. Martin, at the meeting tonight, this was the January 22nd meeting. This is dated January 22nd, 2013. At the meeting tonight, the Board of Water Commissioners voted to request your intentions to remain chairman or be a member on this board. We have several meetings in the next 4 weeks, which would be significantly detrimental to the department operation given the supervisor is on indefinite leave and the many problems at hand. Will you please respond within 10 days of this request so as to not impede our ability to act as a board? Your written response of your continued service or your resignation would be much appreciated in this time of need. And I responded to that by email. It was the 28th, January 28th, 9:23 a.m. I wrote, "Dear Commissioners Ricker and Toomey, I have a pre-engagement on Monday night, January 28, 2013. I will not be able to attend the joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen at 7:30 p.m. I'm in receipt of your January 22nd, 2013 letter as to my status on the Board of Water Commissioners. My term on the Board of Water Commissioners expires in May of 2013. I have until March 22nd, 2013 to decide whether or not to take out nomination papers for another term. If the board should want to reorganize at this time, I would be in favor. I'll be able to attend the Board of Water Commissioners meeting on Tuesday, January 29th, 2013 at 5 p.m. Sincerely, Scott C. Martin." That was my response to your letter. Your letter. And with that, I just wanted to say that I did send a written response to the board. On to item 2 of the joint meeting, I guess the joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen last night.
Mhm.
It's on the agenda. You two attended.
Yeah, the content of the meeting, as it was the previous, I don't know, 3 meetings, was concerning the project out back, the addition.
2 meetings. Well, 3, yeah. I was at one of them, the 10th, the 10th, I think it was, before they did their site visit.
Well, we had a meeting last week, which we discussed it. We had a meeting with the Board of Selectmen
Mm-hmm.
that previous week. We had a meeting with the Board of Selectmen before.
Yep.
So that's 3. And then they came here during a site inspection meeting. So they had, over the period of time, they've had formulated some questions, and both Roy and I tried as hard as we could to answer them. And we have stated that we're not, we weren't had nothing to do with making those decisions about buying stoves or gates or anything like that. So they want some details about that. Do you want to address those questions that they brought up?
Sure.
At the meeting?
Yeah, I'll address the ones I can, if we don't have the superintendent here. A lot of it involves the superintendent. Do we have them? Do we have a copy of?
That's what we're looking for right now, sir.
Okay, so
Or is there a copy in the packet, Laura? Do I have a copy in here?
I didn't know what they wanted to put in.
This is,
Can we make a copy? So that I have to see?
you want to make a copy of this
Sure.
now? So I got that thing anyway. So this is a thing they put together for their January 14th meeting. Were you in the January 14th meeting? I'm not even sure. Maybe that was the night you had the flu.
You know, I've been sick for about 3 weeks.
What they did is they put together their line of reasoning, and then they highlighted or bolded the print on the questions they wanted us to ask the answer that night. And as a consequence of that meeting, we came back and we did some research, and we tried to respond to the questions, looking at what we knew, and we had our meeting, and then we responded verbally last night to our responses to that, to those basically four questions.
What's that?
This is the draft that we kind of made up with Diane. That was some stuff in the answer. That was the whole almost thing. Some placeholder, during the thing. I mean, we tried to answer this with this. It's kind of high.
Wow. Are you thinking of this one?
No, I was doing something else at
okay.
the same time, multitasking. Thanks.
You want to go through these? What are we asking here?
I can just bring up what these highlighted areas, and I think they want a response as to why do we need a full range oven? This is a highlighted thing in their notes. Why do we need a full range oven out back? That was their question, the first question.
Why did they need a full range oven?
Yeah.
Well, they cook on it, I guess. I don't know. Who ordered it?
That's the only way it seems to know. I mean, did that come from?
When they did their sidewalk,
Who signed, who did the invoice for it? Where was it bought?
Yeah, was that on Depot, was it?
Lowe's.
Lowe's?
You signed it.
Well, the bill warrants.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Is that
signed
what you're asking?
the bill
Yeah.
warrants, but I
Yeah.
didn't order the stove. We signed bill warrants. I sign them every other week, just like I sign payroll. I sign them, Roy signs them, Tim signs them, Board of Selectmen signs them. These are all purchases that had been signed by both boards.
Yep. I don't recall if I signed that or not, but
Well,
That
it
was
takes 2 signatures
yeah.
for anything to go through and go through the process of,
Yeah.
to get paid.
Yeah, they're,
Takes at least 2 signatures of this board, and then at least 3 signatures of the Board of Selectmen, town accountant, and town treasurer.
yeah. I think they all realize that, Scott. I think they want to know why we needed an oven and who ordered it.
Well, why they need an oven, I would say that they were gonna cook on it, I guess.
Okay, so,
A full range, I don't know, you know, I know,
here's another highlighted thing. How often is the stove used?
that I can't tell you, because I don't run daily operations, neither do you or Roy.
Yeah, Roy and I didn't know how to answer
So
that.
we, you know,
Why did the board authorize the purchase of a high-end coffee machine? They keep talking about the Cuisinart 12-cup coffee maker. You know, I think that the coffee maker is a high-end model. I think it's, you know, something that would last, but I don't know why we bought it, so that's what they want to know. I didn't know how to answer that.
well, when we sign the bill warrants, I mean, sometimes we go through and we sign them, we don't go through each itemized list. I know I missed a pizza
Well,
maker.
But I mean, by the time we get it, you know,
Well, that's the thing.
the man that runs the day-to-day operations has already
You know.
gone through it, and
You know,
he
that,
knows what's going on.
well, you know, that's been the hitch, is that by the time it gets to us to sign, it's already been purchased.
That's why we changed the
Okay.
purchase orders thing.
So that
I
it,
did a lot of it before.
it always put us in a jam. Yeah, yes.
I think
Mr.
our
Clerk.
concerns last night, Mr. Chairman, you had a doctor's appointment. The previous week you were sick.
Yeah.
We all understand what the nature of that does, but we had put I'm just sorry Stu don't have the copy of what we had in front of us last night. I can kind of remember everything. It's who did the ordering for some of these little things, and was it discussed? You guys are, as a board, you bring up, oh, we need a coffee machine or whatever. Is the, maybe you can tell us so we kind of know. Did the superintendent just go out and say, you guys go get a stove, go get this, or whatever? It must have at some point be brought around to the board members, say, geez, we need a coffee maker for the guys. No, you know, whatever you paid for it. It seems to me if the 3 of you fellas are there, you kind of know what you're buying. I mean, I'm hearing now from you, Mr. Chairman, that you initial it.
Yes.
And it comes in, and there's nothing that's wrong with that. The thing it is, we were just wondering, is who gives the orders to, do you guys discuss this stuff? They need a coffee, they need a wash machine, they need a dryer, they need a shower head, you need this, A to Z, and who makes that decision? Maybe that's gonna be my question, is who makes the decision to go buy it? Is
Well,
it the
the-
chairman, or is it your board?
No, the invoices, Jack, would go through the superintendent, okay? All the invoices.
That's not what I'm getting at. When you're buying something.
Right, that's what I
Well,
mean.
you guys
The
ought to be
invoices.
aware what's coming in the door.
That's why Tim and I was talking to you last night about it down there. We did the purchase orders thing. Because
Which
a
is
lot
a
of
good
things are
idea.
coming through. By the time we get it as board members, to sign the warrant to send down to town hall, the stuff has already been bought and paid for. I mean, already been bought
Bought.
and
And it hasn't been
received.
paid
Submitted
for
to
yet.
be paid.
Right.
And it isn't fair to the vendors not to pay, I mean, like any of the things. That's why we want the purchase order, so at least two or three,
Two guys,
two out of the three
so you could sign it.
initial to sign it before they go and get it. Because once they get it, we've already got it and they've used it.
Right, right,
And that's why we've changed it in
That's
the
a good
last few weeks, 3 weeks.
okay.
Well, I mean,
And
it
Laura's
starts
been
off
very
with,
helpful with us on that.
it should start off with somebody saying it's okay to buy it. Whether it be the
That would
superintendent.
be my point, my question.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Who
a
bought it?
superintendent, and then it would go to the board members for their approval.
Right,
But it shouldn't even be considered, I don't think, unless it's something that's absolutely necessary or a supply on the stuff, unless we bring it up at a meeting. I think that's what your point was.
right. Well, something big.
Yeah.
I'm saying, you go buy a flashlight or that, you don't call up and say,
Yeah.
you know.
We do now, anything they need, we want to know.
Well, that's a good thing. I'm glad to hear that you are now. You know, I mean, there's quite a few things on there. I mean,
I mean,
I think
there's been a lot of things, I mean, John just sends them down to get it, or whatever, and we don't know nothing until 2 weeks down the road when the bill's there.
Right,
And that's why we've been saying, you know, we gotta do something different here. And Laura's been very good helping us, you know, take care of the purchase orders things, and she'll call and, tell us what's going on, we either come down and sign it that night or whatever for her.
Right. Okay. Move on.
The second thing was the gates. So, why were these gates lying on the side of the driveway for several weeks? So we had gates out there, and of course there were many people that went by and saw the gates laying down and they weren't installed. But I didn't know why they were laying down there. Was it any reason why they were laying down there for several weeks?
Well, I know, how many times, Roy, did you ask me when John's gonna have to put those gates in? Many times.
Yep.
You asked me that, and I
They sat out there and I
I
sat out
sat
there and I
out there
kept
and I
asking.
talked to him, and I said, when are you gonna put those gates in? You know, oh, well, the slot's gotta be cut, you gotta cut a slot in it and put a turnbuckle, or however they were gonna go in, and we were in the process, they were waiting for the concrete to set up when they set the posts, and, because I asked them also.
And
said,
now
I
Jason
wanna
looked
get
at
those,
it, yeah.
I want,
Yeah.
you know, we want those gates to be put in.
And to put it up the way that originally John thought we were gonna do, we're cutting 3/4 of the pipe away, so that ain't gonna work.
What was it, in '10, winter of '10, we had a plow storm from out back? Was it '10?
No, I guess it was 10.
It was
Yeah.
the winter
Yeah.
of '10 and '11.
Yep.
They stole our plow out back.
Now it's one
And-
that
and-
said that we needed gates.
And they moved some heavy pieces of metal to steel the plow and frame. That's why when, well, we had looked at, I do believe John contacted the person who built the gates for the stations. That was, I think, it's a welding firm out of Groveland. Kevin Walsh, I think his name was, in Groveland. And he was supposed to have gotten quotes, I believe he got quotes from Walsh, or was gonna get quotes from Walsh and Hardy's Welding. Walsh never got back to him. These gates are made out of 3-inch galvanized. They're not your regular pipe gate, because they dragged that plow out with a truck and moved we had the plow tucked in behind the big truck with the forklifts, with the forks to the backhoe and everything. And they actually, whoever stole it, tied a chain to the forks, dragged the forks out, tied a chain to the plow, the whole frame and everything, and dragged that up, and then made off with it. So that's why
Okay.
we have.
We know about,
But those gates were supposed to be put up.
okay, Mr. Chairman, our big concern last night with all of our board members, you know, myself and Mr. Dalzell, we're on the board, we're here, we've been following the meeting.
Yeah.
Our big concern was that you paid $2,200 in 3 payments. Correct me if I'm wrong. That would be $6,600 to have the gates fabricated and made. Am I right on this now?
That, I don't have it in front of me, Jack.
Material only.
No, well, I'm getting to that. I'm gonna get to it. And the other thing was, you went and you just read it, which I asked, it was $2,570.47 to buy the supplies. Now, if you add that all the way up, you're up to,
9170,
right,
47.
right. Now, when you gentlemen awarded it, the bid to do it, did you get 3 written quotes?
We didn't bring it up at the meeting. That was taken care of. John was taking care of it.
Okay,
It was
this
never
is a
voted
big
on.
thing we have.
It was never voted on, Jack, to get bids. John took care of it and told us he had the gates coming.
That's what we got a big problem. You get the procurement acts,
What I'm saying, Jack, we never knew they were done until all of a sudden we
okay,
told they were done.
someone out of them. They're out there. Right now, they could come out and steal something out there tonight. They're not working, am I correct?
Exactly.
They gotta be fixed. Before we get done here,
Put this on our agenda. I have something right here for you. Take a look at.
okay,
Get
but
that farther down the
what I'm
agenda.
just saying is, this is,
Just before,
let me just,
Okay.
can I just
All right.
finish?
Yep,
Then you
yep,
can
yep,
holler and
yep.
do
No,
what you
no,
want
no,
to me.
no,
I
no.
just wanna make a point
Yep.
as a ratepayer and especially as being on the board of selectmen. It's a big concern on us, what went on with that, Scott. Not pointing the finger here, but someone had to go out and say, do this, pick up the metal, bring it back here, or bring it to Hardy. What is puzzling us is why 3 quotes, 3 bills come in for $2,200 a piece, and we cannot, anyone can add that up at $6,600. When Scott Levitt went out, and the beautiful fences down there, got quotes, he got 4 quotes from 4 not an auto body company, from 4 fence companies. And I talked to Scott today. The highest bid was 100 over what he awarded to get was $3,050. No one's going to get in there. I mean, I know they're not like a Pentagon out here for the White House fence that we get out here. A fence is a fence to me. Whoever made that decision, on my own opinion, is a real poor judgment what you guys spent for out here for 3 gates, and they don't work. My only thought is for the board, get the guy to come down and made him, have him working. But he's been paid, am I right?
I assume he's been
Yeah.
paid, Jack.
I would say. I mean, it really, it's,
But in talking with John before he left, because I do believe it was right up to 2 weeks before he went out on sick. You had called me and said, when are those, you gotta
Well, I
get
seen it
on
on the
John to
selectmen's
get
meeting
those,
one
to
night.
get
I
those
called him
gates up.
Tuesday morning.
So, and I asked John.
and the other
about
thing,
the
Mr.
gates,
Chairman,
about getting the gates put up. And he
And-
said that he needed the turnbuckles and that they were in the process of, because they were doing it themselves. John, Jay, and the guys were
Okay.
putting these gates
and
up
what did it
themselves.
take to get the gates, to try to get them started? The Board of Selectmen question on the gates. and they're laying on the, when we come down, you know what started
They're
this?
still laying on the ground.
Yeah, the tour we had, and we was really surprised, and I am, being a former member of the water board, and I was involved with you when I went to town meeting, got the 100,000 to build the garage.
Yeah.
You made the motion, I seconded it. I was
Those
on
gates
the
were
water
supposed
board.
to be up.
No, I'm not talking about that. The money,
These gates were supposed to be up 2 months ago. They were supposed to be put in. Am I wrong?
so in other words,
Well, they're not.
in other words, orders
And they're
wasn't,
still not.
and so you talked to the superintendent, and he didn't perform his job to get the workers to do it. Am I practically what you said?
Well, Jack, we don't run daily operations. The board does. We
Well, I
don't,
think you guys,
we don't, you know, I mean, you know, I mean, I don't want to run that crew. Neither does Tim and neither does Roy. That's not our job.
well, right now, we're in a,
I think that the major issue here is, do we have 3 quotes? And the answer is, well, you
No.
because it was an attempt to contact.
I think
another
I
vendor.
think he had 2.
you need 3.
And, you know, we've been, their directive is that we gotta have 3 quotes. So, and then that's kind of common knowledge. We have to have 3 quotes before we make an expenditure. So, you know, we have purchased gates, and then we don't have, we just have one vendor giving us a price, and we just go ahead and approved it. I mean, I didn't approve it, but, you know, it's somebody approved
Well,
that purchase.
you know, that's right. I mean, you know, we signed the bill warrants, the board did, you know, and
Well, that's
and
after
like
the
you said,
fact.
that's after the fact. But how many times have we been caught in that pickle, Tim? Quite a few.
What kind of pickle would that be, Scott?
That would be the things ordered prior to, and it getting to the bill packet, okay? Already been ordered, already here, and if we don't sign them, then they've already been ordered and purchased, they don't get paid for.
Yeah, but someone's gotta give that telephone call to order 'em. I
Yeah.
run a fence
Yeah.
company, you call me up.
Right.
Say, Cookie, come down and put a 50-foot gate for me, and you don't get no price. You know what I mean? You
Well,
gotta do business like
I know, but
someone would do business.
Can you-
it's a half a dozen times that I brought it up, 3 quotes.
Pittsburgh.
Yes, Joe.
Jimmy,
Let's go ahead.
Okay.
Before.
you know, you just said this, that how many times have you been caught? You know, that it's gone through the warrant, it's already been on.
Well, that
But,
has
okay.
been brought up,
Right,
that
but let me
it's
tell
coming to
you
our
something.
attention now,
All right,
Joe.
I got a couple of questions. You've all taken the state ethics test, right?
Yep.
And signed off on it to the
Yeah.
town clerk.
Yeah.
Have any of you gone to the open meeting that the DA here, the local DA, Essex County DA runs every once in a while on how to run an open meeting and different things? Has any of you been for procurement training?
No,
Okay, all right.
No.
Has John been for procurement training?
that I don't know. Joe.
Okay? Shame on this board, the 3 of yous or whoever it was before that was there, for not stopping after the second time something like that came through to tell, let me finish, to
Yep.
tell John that it's wrong and we're not gonna do this any longer. We have the tree issues, we have $12 million of our tax dollars going for this water treatment plant. And I have to tell you, not just as a citizen or somebody that works in this town and is on some boards, but also 20 water bills I get every month.
Yeah.
I have no faith in this board or this water department to handle that $12 million. After what I've been watching on TV the last few weeks, okay? My water bills for 20 meters has gone from FY11, $9,500, FY12, $13,000, and we're 6 months into FY13, and I'm looking at $8,000 going to $16,000. That is less money I have to spend on my elderly or my families at Plantation or Depot Way. I have to tell you that the Board of Selectmen has made one big mistake, and I will tell them, and even if my husband was still on the board, that last night they should have contacted and get a letter off to the Attorney General to come in and take over this and see what's going on. Because I have to tell you, I have no faith. And once they come, they've got to move off of this. We got to move off of the stove. We got to move off of the dryer. We got to move off of the gates. We have to move forward. And the only way it's going to move forward is you either get in whatever they do with the Attorney General, fine you, whatever, or say there's nothing. It has to move on. It's been dragged on too long, and as taxpayers and water rate users, I've had it. And I have to tell you guys, I have no faith, and the best thing that can happen, and I know you're not going to like this, is all three of you send a letter of resignation, and the Board of Selectmen, till the May election, appoints people. There are engineers in this town. There are people that work for the MWRA that would gladly try to come in and get this straightened out till the election time, and whoever wants to can put their names in, because I'm done. I have no faith in this board whatsoever. You have let too many things go by, and whether it's John's fault or not, you can't keep blaming him. The buck stops at you. Two signatures on the warrant, and then also, the selectmen have started to stop paying on some of them. And once you stop paying one or two vendors, then you'll know what you got to do to get it done right. That's it. I've said my piece, but I just do not want to keep watching the Board of Selectmen meetings or these meetings and just seeing everybody throwing somebody else under the bus.
Bravo, Joan Peterson.
I'd like to
You're
add
right,
to
you're
that.
absolutely right.
I'd like to add to all of that, because as I'm watching the Board of Selectmen meetings, I'm noticing that these bills are going through and they're being paid by the Board of Selectmen. So it's slipping by everybody. So it needs to, everybody has to rein in and start working together.
Yeah.
Now, Joni, what's her name? Debbie Egan, she's
Yes.
our procurement officer. It slipped by her, it slipped by the Board of Selectmen. Everybody has to start working together. This is an out-of-hand situation by everyone involved, and it needs to be reined in. Yes, there isn't any finger pointing. This point, every one of you people need to get together for the people of Rowley and start working together and understanding everyone's screwed up. How are we not going to let this happen again?
Well, this has been going on since before fall. They can't get people to come down. How are they going to get answers?
I don't know. I don't
Well,
know.
I said last
I don't
night,
really know what the communication
give it to the
problem
Attorney
is,
General,
but there
let the
is one.
indictments fall
I'm
where they
hearing
may.
it. I see the meetings. I'm hearing the communication problems. There's too much fighting. There's too much name calling. There's too much this.
No.
There's too much
No
that.
answers.
Nothing's getting
No
solved.
answers.
No,
There's
there's
no
not
fight.
that.
Oh, I see it.
No
It's
answers.
not that at all. Listen, I
Alright.
pay taxes here.
I do too.
And the last time I was at the meeting for the treatment plant, and I asked Mr. Martin, who's the CEO, who's the CFO, who's in charge of the money? My $13 million, his, yours, everybody else's. He jumped all over me. He was very insulted, he was very arrogant. And here today we sit. I'm pretty smart, I can figure out what a coffee pot is for. I want to know what line item it came from. I want to know where the money came from that's paying for the stove, the dryer. Where is the dryer?
There's
We have a
the
receipt for the dryer, we have no dryer. Is it stolen?
There is a
There's a
invoice
receipt for
with
the
the dryer
dryer
on it.
Where is the dryer?
What
There's a
about two
receipt for it.
kitchens?
Wow.
I don't even
There isn't.
care about a kitchen. These guys work
Well, listen,
hours and
I
let
can
me finish.
Oh, sure.
These guys work hours on end. I have no problem with them having someplace to come in and grab
I hear
something to
ya.
eat.
I hear ya.
Close their
I'm
eyes
for
for
that
a few
too.
minutes. The girls having a clean ladies' room, I have no problem with that. My problem is, where did the money come from? We voted $40,000 extra to
Yeah.
remodel for the garage, to store the equipment. Where is the money coming from for all this remodeling? Can you answer that?
No, I can't.
No,
I'm
you
not
can't.
part of it. But
He's
what I'm
lying,
hearing,
but I'm
I think you're
attacking
missing
his
my
name
point.
calling.
I'm sorry, your name?
My name is Sherry.
I'm Denise Spencer. I'm sorry, I think you're missing my point. My point is that it's all been done and everybody signed for it. Everybody let it slip by. At some
So you
point,
got, somebody got away with something, is that the point?
no, is that what you're trying to imply?
No.
Because I'm not. I'm saying that however the business
Listen.
goes, because I'm just learning myself. I'm just starting to get
Well,
involved
I'm
myself.
not, I'm not,
Well,
this isn't new to me.
all right, I'm
Okay?
explaining to you how I think you're misunderstanding
I
me.
want to know where the money came from.
I don't blame
to
you.
buy all these things. The stove, the
Don't
I don't have
blame
a problem with
you.
the
Don't blame
cabinet.
you. Everybody
Where's the
does.
money come from? And you can't sit there and say, we didn't know, we didn't sign off it. You're elected officials. Somebody has to know something.
Well, I
At
had
the
said,
selectmen's meeting,
Sheriff,
Scott, it was all on you.
I had
Mr. Martin
said-
did that. Mr.
I
Martin,
had
tonight it's
said,
Mr.
Sheriff,
Reza.
I had said, Sherry, we all signed it. I signed it, Tim signed it,
Okay,
Roy signed it,
great.
Mr. Dalzell signed them, Mr. Cook signed them,
Okay.
Mr. Snow signed them, Mr. Merry signed them, Mr. Perry signed them, the accountant signed them, the treasurer signed the checks.
Great. Out of what account did the money come from? What line item?
It's either the expenditure for the building, for the renovation of the garage, or the maintenance account.
Yeah,
That,
but
none
the
of that
purpose-
stuff comes under the maintenance account, and it doesn't come
I-
under the line
I-
item for the remodel.
Scott?
You know?
That's the problem.
The thing it is, the total appropriation to finish it, start number one, these people got good questions here and answers should be done. We went with 100.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the job for the 100. We went back, I wasn't on the board at the second time, and you got 40. You got $140,000 to house the equipment. The original thing we got up on the floor at town meeting was to put all our equipment under one roof.
Yeah, that was back when, if I do believe it was
209.
T Square, with the gentleman over in
Right.
Georgetown.
And he passed away.
Had drawn the plans up. That's the first time we put it out to bid, Jeff.
Right, and it went way over. Yeah, right, went way
And
over.
then that gentleman passed away.
Then we
and-
tried to do piecemeal with Whittier.
Then we
The
went
kids.
and we had new plans drawn up because we couldn't use T Square anymore by Mr.
Mr.
Jacobs
Jacobs.
in
Jacobs.
010,
Yeah,
okay? Have you seen these plans?
Yeah, I did, that's on his line.
Okay, so we had the plans in 010. We put it out to bid again. Okay, and again, they come in over bid. Then the school, I had asked the school if they would help us on it to do the blocking and what they could. I talked to Beverly DeSalvo. She's the outside coordinator for Whittier Tech for the outside projects. And she talked to the superintendent, and they accepted it as a school project to help us with the blocking. And that's where it started, Jeff. To get it off. First, we had to tear down what was existing. You were here. You
I
were
was
with
here
us then.
involved with all that, right.
So I mean, everything to try and get that done. It's done.
I know it's done, but the other thing is, we got a suite upstairs that's better than the governor's office upstairs. If these people were tonight were to take a tour upstairs, what this money was supposed to be used for storage, they'd flip out. You know, and I did when I come in. I didn't know you. And the other thing is, though, Scott, last night, our board was presented with a packet that, by your board, brought them last night, outstanding bills additionally of $16,437.04.
What?
14, right, I got it right here. No, I'm sorry, I said, what did I say, 14? $16,437.04, which was dropped at a slap. These vendors haven't been paid.
What are they? I haven't seen them. I have
You
not
haven't
seen
seen
them,
them,
Jeff.
Scott.
I have not
There's-
seen.
John Reza is on a lot of these, and electrical, Gothia, a bill for $12,164.43.
I seen them, yeah.
Instant, Mr. Chairman, I'll just read them to you quick if you didn't see them. Instant Signal and Alarm Company for $1,172. And now you've got Seacoast Lock and Safe for $695. And Yankee Pine, 2361. And
Those were ones of the,
40511.
There was a stack of bills in here that were dating back to November, and then they weren't brought forward, so we brought them forward last night, because they were related to the back.
that were in here since November?
You got some here that come back from October, 10/22.
Well, I know the ones that you, that the Board of Selectmen held back.
These, Scott, I think you looked at a few of them though, so,
Of what bills?
Jack, you have them bills here?
I got it right here, sure. The whole packet.
I just gave him the packet. I just gave him the packet.
Okay. Now, Mike, maybe Mr. Dalzell, I've been talking too much. Go ahead, Stu.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Stu.
under the electrical contractor's bill, purchase order for the Rowley Water Department, why is the town of Rowley billed the sales tax? Yankee Pine did not put the tax on, the town's exempt. It's not just one bill, it's many bills.
Many of them.
$40 here, $20 there.
You say in taxes?
When did these come in?
I think they've been here. The invoice.
You initialed a few of them bills, I mean,
These ones here, I have not. I've never seen these.
well, not all of them, there's a few that.
The ones that I initialed are the ones that went in on a warrant that the Board of Selectmen put on hold.
These haven't been applied by you people yet.
I've never seen them.
Well, I'm looking at an invoice here, date for 10/15/12 on one of them, from to Mark Gauthier, out of his residence is Manchester. I think the great big question on this is all the extra work that was done. There again, prevailing wage, you've got procurement,
Well,
new
these-
construction down here that don't add up to what was performed out back.
They came up with that, but that's what they were to get down.
See, this stuff is being held,
Yeah,
but this stuff here is.
This I knew. This I knew about. This was which was on the Board of Selectmen's questionnaire, the Maglio and the Yankee Pine. But not the Gauthier Electric.
Well, that was, Tim, that someone of the water board brought this to, dated 28th.
They were
When was
just-
the 28th? Yesterday?
Yes, it is.
The bills that weren't paid, that were, being held back.
Being held back? By who? Because I've never seen them.
No, the thing was, Mr. Chairman, they never got to us.
They've never got to us.
Well, as far as we know, the invoices that are sitting here, that we know one has been into the Board of Selectmen twice. That was from, what was it, Magley?
Maglio?
Real property.
Yeah,
Maglio
Maglio
Properties.
Properties.
That was the one for what, $1,800?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was for that. But the administrator, Debbie asked for the procurement payment, and he said he was a one-man operation, but he subbed it. That's a no-no. Violation right there, what he said. And he's never been back with his bond, and he hasn't been back to meet with Debbie. So there's a lot going on. It seems though every day something else is happening.
the electrician did, and he used to go.
See, a lot of that stuff there, Scott, is he just attached it to his bill as a backup materials. So that'd be the electrician with all the...
And I think-
Mr. Murray found a clothes dryer on that last night.
A clothes dryer?
I think he bought himself a clothes dryer.
You kidding me?
Well, there's hookups here for it, isn't there? There's hookups here for the washer and dryer, and they were here at one point.
I think, Mr. Chairman, you know, we're all talking here, we don't have the superintendent sitting here, he's out on sick leave. I think a lot of the answers we cannot get done tonight. And
Well, Jack, I cannot answer any, that's the first time I've seen
well,
those.
someone has got the answer to this, you know? This is gonna be tough for us. I mean, everyone's aware of what we did at the end of the meeting last night. I mean, we're prepared to go forward with,
The point that you were bringing up last night was that we had approval for $140,000. We're climbing at adding about $45,000 to that.
right,
Above that.
close to 190. That's what we
Right.
projected.
So we have a $45,000, we're in the red, 45,000. So they're wondering how we handle this. So how do we handle this?
No one knows.
Can you understand the taxpayers and the ratepayers' frustration?
Yes, I can, Jim. Because I can understand my frustration right now of seeing that for the first time.
There isn't a bill from the Housing Authority that is not on the desk when my board meets, plus a printout of what the total is. And any member of that board, now I know I write the checks because they don't go through the town because I'm a state agency, but they can question me on anything that I've purchased or paid a bill for the month. Even if I've paid it, because if I've made a mistake, they're gonna stop, that board is gonna stop me from doing that again. So it's supposed to stop with the warrant. If it doesn't, then it goes up to the selectmen or Sue Bailey, who in other years, Sue Bailey has found some things when I was on the school committee, many, many years ago. So there is this checks and balances. But I mean, you know, I don't want to say this, but did John Resnick clean out his desk before he went on sick leave to submit any of these bills sitting in the drawer somewhere?
And believe me, Mr. Chairman, I served many years with Joan.
I know you
A
have.
very, very good director. There isn't many that could top her, what she does. We go to a meeting every month. There's from A to Z. Bought this, bought this, bought this. It's all there. The checks where she will. There's a balance sheet. Easy to calculate what she does. She could go back and tell you probably 10 years what you did on the plug in the computer. Very, very good on what she just said. Everything goes on a ledger like, and we read it all down. You know, we spent $12,000 this month. It adds up. Very good. This thing here really disturbs me. I mean, it really did with the board last night. We all. And the thing it is, can any of you tell us when you expect the? I mean, I know he's sick.
That's a unit price, right?
When he is coming back?
That's the price right there.
The official answer is
That's a unit
he got a
price.
month leave. And so he's got 2 more weeks to go. And to come back, I guess Debbie's gonna ask him
I don't know.
to have a doctor say that he's able to come back.
I believe it was the 22nd when I was.
So that's, but that, and also, he does have a lawyer. So he has to be,
You don't need a lawyer unless you
Well,
want.
if you're running things right, what do you need a lawyer for?
Yes.
What do you need a lawyer for?
I'm just telling you what,
Huh? Okay.
I can't give an answer to that.
If you're in outside world, the boss asks you a question, you said, I don't have to answer it, you know where you would be.
Yeah.
My next question is, why isn't the truck here? or is it here? I've asked twice where the truck is.
John Reza's truck?
Truck is with John Reza.
Why is it, years ago, he went out sick. Jack was on the board. Scott and my son were, and the truck stayed here.
I
Went out
believe,
I was on the board, you're right. Just as similar to that, we had issues. He had to go to a doctor or whatever, and he took time off. So I says, my board members, I drove them home, brought the truck back here. You know what I mean? Which it should, to me, the truck should be here. You got a truck out that broke down out back, you got a nice new truck, and it's wherever he is staying. I would like to see you board take a vote tonight. This is here. Get the truck here, have some of your board, one of your fellows go get it tomorrow. When he's fit to come back to work with a doc's certificate, either pick him up or he comes up with his car. Is that a good agenda or might?
Jack, you're right, because I was on the board with you when he went out, went out for a 30-day.
And what did I do with the next meeting? Should be in the minutes. I made a motion the truck stays here. You come and pick the truck up when you come to work at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Leave it. Something happened since I was off, they changed it. So it was a vote, unanimous. You were on it,
Yeah, I was.
and David
I
Dalzell
was.
and myself. I said, hey, you guys, where do we want this truck? You know, and the price of gasoline now and everything, I mean, to me,
well, you want to make a motion to go retrieve the truck until
tomorrow,
gets
till
back?
he gets a letter, I'm just recommending, it's you guys call.
Oh, I know.
I'm
Like I
talking
said,
too much
Jack,
here, I'm not
Jack,
running your meeting, but
Jack, I
I've been
haven't
involved.
I've been sick for 3 weeks now. I have not
Understand?
been around, okay, to, you know, I know it's not, it's not, you know, it's not an excuse, but I'm chairman, I should have been around when I was sick at home, and there was no way I could come down here and even try to run operations. We have Laura now sitting in at the last meeting, the board, made Laura superintendent
And I think she's
in the
doing it
absence of John.
right, and I think I talked to her
So
today, I think
maybe
she's
we
doing a
should
hell of a job.
make a motion to get the truck back and give it to Laura.
What a nice,
Sounds
shiny
good.
truck.
Let's keep the truck here.
No, but can you guys do that? Is it too much to ask to get the town vehicle back here for all week? Right?
I'll get well, get the truck back, and the only stipulation is if Laura's not using it, leave it in the garage locked up.
Do you think we should send a letter, or do you think we should call?
What if you needed this truck for business anyway?
If
Well,
we
should
send
it be
them
here, just for
if we
business
send them a
alone?
letter, I think somebody should give them a call.
You send him a letter, it's gonna take 3 days,
Exactly.
then you're gonna be down to 2 weeks.
Yep, that's what I just said.
And then the time
You
he
pick up the
gets
phone,
truck-
you tell him, last night at the board meeting, it was a unanimous vote that the town wants, we want the truck
We
back
want
here
the truck.
in the town of Rowley. When and if you come back to work, we will come down, pick you up so that you have the truck to resume your duties.
Like Jack said, the last time he did this, when you went,
I brought him
You brought him home.
He was sick, and he didn't know when he's coming back, so I remember that night, we said, hey, John,
Yeah, I think
I
it's
drove him home to
when he's
Manchester.
coming back, so, I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
aye,
Aye.
let's get the town truck back and run.
But I understand, if you were sick, you were sick. And the selectmen, some of this could buy the selectmen until they picked up on it. But the bottom line is, this has to be resolved and move on.
Yes, it
We cannot
does.
And will not continue like this.
Yes, it does. It has to. Yes, Sharon.
No one ever answered with what account the money's coming from for all the renovations, or what line item? You said renovations, or what was it? Maintenance?
Either the, well, there's only two accounts show. It either comes out of
Well, I guess there's only two accounts because it wasn't voted on for it to happen. The money was voted and appropriated for something else, but was used for this. So it's coming out of those.
my suspicion is that what we've got sitting in front of us is that it's come out of maintenance. I can't tell you that exactly because I don't have the account, the rundown of the from the accountant's office.
So
What expenditures come out of what account? Maybe we should, maybe we
signed the warrant, we went
should do that.
downtown. Were you tracking this project back yet?
No,
Was John
did
tracking?
anyone
I
notice
wasn't
any
tracking.
renovations
I was
going on, or was it
trying
like
to
down the
build
line?
that.
It's not
Was John
renovation,
tracking?
it's a brand new building.
The
The brand new
brand new
building.
building, the upstairs and everything, nobody realized
You
that was
know,
going on? or-
It's right here in the plans, man.
we got the plans here, the plans that
We were
set.
we went over the appropriation. I don't
But
know
all
who
the
was,
stuff that's in there is what we're
I don't know who
concerned
was
about.
supposed to be tracking that, or
Well,
nobody was
because I don't
tracking.
think you can use the maintenance account to buy the
I
accessories,
didn't
the
make that
furniture, the TVs, the washer and dryer, and all that stuff.
I didn't make that decision.
Okay, my other question is about the gates. Were they not installed by the vendor? Are there any warranties or anything? Because it's a body shop, it's not a
It's a
fabrication.
welding shop, it's
lit-
actually Hattie's Welding and Auto Body.
Okay, so is he gonna warranty the gates where he's not installing them?
That's,
We can't seem to find that out.
So there's no
we
contract
have
with the
a
gates?
problem with the gates not working now, so.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
I'm
we-
well aware of that, but is there any
Sherry,
contract,
from-
I guess what I'm asking, is there a contract for what the town purchased and what you get back for that money? A warranty?
From what John told me, that him and the guys were gonna put these gates in. They were gonna
Well,
set the gates.
Okay, that's hearsay, but why
No,
the
that's
town,
coming from
why,
the
why are the
superintendent.
town employees installing this kind of
All,
stuff?
all it is, ma'am,
On
is
town
they use
time.
the backhoe to pick the gate up, it slides down over a pipe. It's not something that anybody could do.
I understand that completely.
So
But
they
when you
use the town
purchase-
machine to pick it
Okay,
up. To
but
set
why
it
isn't
up.
the vendor installing them? I guess why aren't we paying for fabrication and installation, is my question.
What I'm saying is, you can't pick them up by hand. They had to use the machine, and that's why it was done with the water department backhoe.
But if the vendor was putting it in, the water department could have been there to pick them up and put them in. Am I right or am I wrong? At one of the meetings when you were with the Board of Selectmen, they weren't fitting in those pipes the right size.
They
were the
fit
wrong
into the pipe,
size.
there's no problem whatsoever with that junk.
Okay.
They're so heavy.
They fall, all right, they fall over. I knew
down.
there was something that, there was a reason they weren't staying up.
I guess that's the problem. They're not made correctly because they're not made by somebody who makes gates. They made gates, they made gates.
They're an overkill, is what they did. And
Exactly,
if you can look at this, the thickness of the thing, you'll see why.
right.
And I've come up with a way here to straighten it out that I was gonna bring up later on when our agenda.
All right.
Will the contractor on the bill, I believe it said design and bill, will he do that attachment that you're
I just got
showing
this today from Jay Stu, and if you wanna take a look at it and get an idea what we're talking about, and the prices of it.
You know, Jay also
I've seen
said that
those
the
before.
hardware isn't put on the gates.
I've seen those
So
before.
There's
Yeah.
more welding to be done.
I understand this. Is the contractor paying for this?
I just got
Finish
that
the
today
job.
from Jay. Jay made that up and got the prices and everything, and I haven't seen anybody say.
Anybody else care to see this? No?
Was there a
That
contract?
I don't know, Stu. We can find out.
Good idea.
I've seen something like that on gates before, on farm gates, you know, on a heavy gate. But,
We have a gate system. It's sole source. One vendor gave us a price, and it's 3 or 4 times as higher than the ones on the street department. They don't fit, they don't work. I don't
No
know.
warranty, no installation.
And he got paid, didn't he?
Oh, sure, he got paid in three payments.
Can I ask a question? I don't know where you
Yes.
guys are.
Okay.
Do you people ever look at the bills or anything when these things come in, and it's, you know, it says, you're on a commission. When you see something, when the superintendent, Reza, buys something, okay? Now it's time for you guys to meet, maybe once a month, twice, whatever it is. Do you go over these bills and say, what the hell, what is this? What is this?
No.
Ever? Do you ever do this?
We
That's why
do. We do. If we might see something we don't have, we have a question on, so we'll bring it up with the staff. What is this? And a lot of these things, and there's a lot of them. There's typically, what, about 60 or 70 things on the warrant every.
So, apparently what you people tell us is that John Reza runs rampant. He can do anything he wants to, anytime.
That's why-
Spend as much money he wants to.
That's why I
Jack
said-
and I and Pete Dalzell, we're on the cemetery commission. When we go out and buy something, we run it through the three of us. We go out, we get estimates, what's the cheapest price, because that's what the town has us do. When we go out, we negotiate, and we purchase that. It seems to me this John Reza just goes out and buys anything he wants to.
That's
And
why
you
we
guys-
changed the purchase
And
orders.
you guys
there.
blueprint and say, okay, fine, that's great. So now, it's unbelievable.
That's why we changed the purchase orders 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but how long has this been
Because
going on?
John never made out the purchase order, what we're trying to tell you. All right? We changed this 2 weeks ago. We're trying to move forward. We stopped bringing up stuff that happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago. We're all sick of it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Without pointing fingers, I would like to see you gentlemen put a freeze on any unnecessary spending without your approval.
We already have.
We have it still.
I think
We
everybody's
have it.
scared.
We
So
did.
this is straightened out.
We did. It's as Roy stated, we put now all the purchase, any purchase order.
I don't care if they go to Napa for a can of oil. I want to see a purchase order.
You can require the
Prior to ordering it.
Make sure they have it.
Prior to ordering it.
And just to give you an example, a couple of months ago, your fuel for the month was like $2,100. The lake departments was $1,100.
And we got one truck down.
Well, I was at that time, Scott. But I think a lot of it too is you gotta kinda conserve. I know, the ones that really need it, I mean, a police officer can't go out and patrol the road and sit up on a corner and shut the thing off when it's zero, right?
When gas prices were through the roof, they were limited to what? 10 mi, how many miles per night, Dave?
45.
45. Remember when the gas price went up almost $5 a gallon? And they
Yeah.
limited the cruises to X amount of mileage per night.
I understand that if they're on a water break or something cool weather, they need to get warm. I understand that. But it's in the daytime. Looking down my house, if I'm out by the where you can see the street, zooms, just riding around. I hate to say it, but it's true.
I think we're all attuned to looking at cost-saving measures here. And we're all,
Just for example, you have a '09 truck out there, I believe, and there's 60,000 miles on that. 3.5 years, for something that doesn't leave town. You know, the last 2 meetings ago, they were discussing new tires. John said that's 60,000 miles on it. For something supposed to just go to work, or down the road fix a water break, even if they were reading some meters.
You know, Roy, you got very
Yes.
upset over, all right, go ahead.
Well, no, Joan, we've
Over
been
the-
going back and forth
I
with
know that,
selectmen.
over the
We can't
dates.
answer the questions.
I know.
We told them that. The person that should be here answering the questions is not here. And I'm just sick and tired of getting beat up and looking stupid on TV. And these questions, the same single questions for 6 weeks.
I know, and,
Enough is enough. We're trying to change things around. Tim and I have made up a couple of different decisions. We're trying to straighten things out on the buying of stuff.
I know.
The thing was, Joan, is everything was bought before. The only time we knew anything about it is 2 weeks down the road when we came in to sign the the warrant.
But-
It's already been bought and paid for and in use.
It's the three, and I don't wanna harp on, it's the three gates at $2,200 at three different times. Was there not a red flag that went up to any one of the three of yous?
They weren't on the same warrant.
But wouldn't you question that it's the same thing again?
We did question finally, but so after it came up the third time,
That's splitting a bid. That's why I
Well,
asked if he's
that's
gone
why
to
we're here.
procurement training.
that's why we're here today. That came up after 3 times. We said, oh, something's up here. Sue Bailey picked it up. We picked it up.
Karen,
Excuse me, I am on the agenda to discuss the water treatment plant debt. I have to leave for about 30 minutes. Would you like me to come back, or would you prefer I came at a later meeting?
We ought to have a later meeting.
It makes no difference, I just have to go and draw my car.
Laura, we want to have a meeting Friday night anyway.
Do you,
We have a lot on the agenda, so we,
do you,
do you wanna try?
Post the meeting
could
and go Friday.
could we continue, could we
Yeah,
continue
why don't
this
you wanna
meeting in that we can
We
put Karen
really
on?
need to get the budget talked about, and Karen's a big part
Oh,
of what's
absolutely.
going on with the treatment plant debt right now.
when are we planning on, we're gonna post a meeting for a Friday night?
Or we don't have to close this one, we can continue this one until Friday
I
night.
mean, I
if
can
you'd
come
like
back
to do
and be
that.
here back in 30 minutes
You
if
know.
you have enough to keep your discussion
Oh,
going.
we'll be here for
like that.
30 minutes.
Well, I would like to, I'll leave
Okay.
and then I will return.
Okay, Karen, we won't close the meeting
All
until you
right.
come back.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay. So you're looking at a fix to that?
Yes.
Okay.
But that was on our agenda down the road,
Can
that I was gonna bring it up.
Have you talked,
Excuse me.
have you talked with Jason? You have
Yes.
talked to Jason?
Jason's the
Massey?
one that got this set up.
No,
He
he
said
is
he
the
can do
foreman,
this,
so.
he can do this in approximately 2 to 3 hours, and put it on. And, these things here, see this here?
Yeah,
This swings up, so if there is a lot of snow, they can swing that up. They haven't got a shovel
I
path to
mean,
get it open. They can push the
okay.
gate open
all
and
right,
put it back down.
okay. So we can get these gates.
So the
on
thing, I
and
guess,
work.
the thing we wanna do is this price here and see if, Hardy Welding on Auto Body is going to do anything with us.
All right. All right. What do you think?
It's not gonna work.
You don't think it's gonna work?
The posts are tilted, they're off at an angle, so.
This is gonna take care of it, all right?
That's stationary.
Enough with the gates.
Okay.
Can't go any deeper. You
Okay,
can't, because the
okay,
gates are only,
okay.
the poles are only so long.
Okay.
We have a fix here,
Yep.
all right? If we wanna
It
either
lifts
throw the gates
up
away
and
and
it's
scrap
around.
them, or
And
spend
it makes it easier
$224.
for them
So
Swing
the
us.
height of that, those wheels go varying with the.
It's
Yes,
adjustable, I
yes.
just showed you that, it's
Yes.
adjustable.
So when you move the gate out,
I think
you
you're
gotta
gonna
take this thing and move it down.
That
It's
top,
like a drill
can
bit.
it slide up and down? It goes down over the pipe, right?
Exactly.
All right, okay.
He wants to go down deeper with the poles, and the poles,
You should be able to take these gates with a finger and move them over.
If those posts.
Those
put in
posts are
right.
perfectly vertical.
you ain't gonna get them to go that way.
You're gonna have to be longer posts.
No, okay, we'll just discuss the gates and we'll get beyond the gates, Roy, okay? Purchase orders for Tetra.
Well, we gotta,
Mark,
are
what do
you
you-
finished with questions, Tim?
It's enough
Well-
questions.
The only last question that they had was that, is the Board of Water Commissioners in agreement with the law, and do they understand that they have exceeded the town's meeting authorization? Please respond to this question. Is the Board of Water Commissioners in agreement with this law, and do they understand that they have exceeded the town's authorization? How do you think we should make reparations for this action? So, I couldn't answer that. What do you think?
I don't know, Tim. What a mess. When's our next, when's the next meeting with the Board of Selectmen?
It's
Monday
open.
night,
It's
the
not-
4th?
It's not open. That's for
Don't you have-
that's for the budget, I believe.
They canceled that right now. They haven't scheduled a meeting.
Well, I thought we had one with them for the budget.
They had to cancel it.
So we're not on the 4th.
Well, I think basically, the next meeting, I mean, we're looking for, and like Commissioner Ricker said, you know, you're taking a lot of our time from everything. I mean, we got our budgets, it's important for our board, we have to review, and town meetings right around the corner, we get school issues, we get, you know, to do with important business coming up with us. And like Mr. Ricker said, getting kind of tired of it going there. I mean, the thing it is, what can we do? I think that the move is that we gotta get some answers from the superintendent and go forward.
And he's lawyered up, right, Jack?
Huh?
I heard he's lawyered up.
He's what?
He's lawyered up.
Well, whatever it is.
Well, how do you break
still
that?
works for the
I'm
town.
trying to, I'm asking because I don't know. He's lawyered up.
I
How
don't
do you
know
get him
either.
to, how do you choke him out of him? I don't know. How do you do it?
Does he have a contract?
Tell us a good solution.
Does he
I
have
don't
a
know. That's, I'm
year to
asking you.
year?
You're the problem.
No,
3 year?
he's at the will of the board.
At the will of the board? So he doesn't have a
Yes.
contract. So you people can make a decision. I understand it'd be difficult when this is out of the doctors, you know, just
Well, it was,
almost impossible to move on. But there are stipulations that you can make as a board. If you don't answer our questions by so-and-so date, we would find that we would have to move in a way, whatever. 'cause I'm
look,
not-
the first joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen, he had his lawyer send the Board of Selectmen a memo stating that he
You're exactly
lawyered up and
right.
wasn't under, and he was
And he
under
showed up,
paperwork.
and he showed up and you asked questions.
And he,
I don't get it. He works for you guys. And you're gonna bring a lawyer in to give an answer? I don't think so.
You're the boss.
You guys are the boss. It's about time you sit down, think about where we're gonna go.
You guys are in charge.
If you're saying, I don't wanna be the one to say he's holding and doing things, but that's you guys. There's 3 of you. Put your heads together, sit down and say, hey, this is done, that's done. Let's move on.
The day-to-day operations, you're saying
Yeah.
you guys aren't involved in the day-to-day operations. Well, maybe you should be involved in it.
you can't.
Why can't
Bill,
you?
you can't, because
Well, Roy has a job.
they're union
Yeah,
employees.
work.
You can't get involved
They don't.
with the day-to-day operations as management as to the union positions. That's why we have a superintendent.
So he's in the union?
The board can,
Well,
the
the
only way
resident
the
union?
board can do anything is through the superintendent with the men.
So he represents you,
Yes,
right, so.
he's
when you-
management.
Right, so he represents you. So when you say something, he has to do what you people say.
His
Supposed to.
position and Laura's
What?
position are
Supposed to.
non-union
Supposed to, right.
management.
They've got
Well, he's
to get the fence.
So
4 weeks.
he's representing management.
Scott,
Yeah.
you gentlemen lay out the work you would like done. It's your meeting. We expect this to be done, that to be done, X, Y, Z. The next meeting, if it's not done,
Write him a little reprimand.
See you
you'll
later.
wanna know why.
You're not getting the job done. Very simple. Everybody has to work that way. We all do. You're not doing it, you're not getting the job done. See you later.
You realize everything may not get done. You may have had a water break or something like that. But,
justified.
right.
That's right. That's the only way you're gonna be able to move on.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're gonna move on. You're gonna get credibility with the water department. That's the only way you're gonna move on. I understand you people here on the board and, you know, you're unpaid and you're elected officials, but this guy who's running rampant, everybody seems to think that it's you people are doing this. Because he's representing you people. He's bringing you people down. Cut him loose.
That's right.
Cut him loose.
Good word. But you gotta
Do it right.
You gotta do it right.
Gotta do it
It's all
right.
on set
You
for
don't wanna be
Gotta
sued.
do it right.
Well, you don't wanna be sued.
Before we
Exactly.
say anything, we
No,
can't say.
that's your
He's-
decision.
he
That's
is a
not our
town-
decision.
He is a town employee, so we gotta be careful.
You
That's
cannot
right.
speak, you cannot talk about his job,
Cannot.
under the open meeting law, you
Cannot.
cannot talk about his job performance
Right.
without him being notified or present.
Or, right, or
You guys want me to give you sit you down and go through the open meeting stuff?
Johnny, I know what you just said.
Joan, Joan, like at your attention,
Yes.
you said that there is a course for
Yes, there
board
is.
members.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd like to just take that.
If you talk to the town clerk,
Sue Hazen.
Sue Hazen, she usually will know when he's holding it somewhere, and she usually sends out a notification.
Have you ever taken it?
The open meeting law?
No, the open board meeting.
The open meeting, no, it's
How to be a board member?
Yeah, well, it's
The
not
open-
how to be,
No.
it's covering, yes, it is covering the agenda and what you can do in executive session and what you can't do in executive
And
session.
the
I've
criteria
been
that you.
I was on the school committee for almost 25 years. I'm starting my 20th year at the Housing Authority Director. I'm, second or third year as moderator. I've taken it 3 times, because they're always changing things.
Okay, so, talk to Sue Hazen.
See,
Yes.
and she can call and
Have you
find
taken
out.
the
They
vote?
can even set something up for the
Years
town,
ago.
up in the
But
town.
everything's changed, Tim.
Absolutely.
Everything, it changes year. I took it years ago.
Jack, did you take the course?
We did.
Stu?
And we all gotta, you guys must have got something across.
Yeah, we did.
Within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we gotta take an online, gives you a printout,
Again.
you turn it in, it's good.
Yeah, I know,
for
we
you.
get that,
That's-
but
that's
we haven't.
the ethics.
there's no-
That's the
course
state
one.
ethics.
That's the
That's
ethics.
state ethics.
That's
not
the
open-
ethics.
That's
But
not
the
the
other,
open
what she's
meeting
talking
session.
is altogether different.
Right.
This is running meetings and altogether, you
Okay.
know.
And
conducting
there's a
business.
procurement training coming up that I
Right.
just received notification. I can forward the email to any one of you, and you can take that.
I've been a board member, I was on the Board of Health, and I'm on this board here for 3 years now. How long is it? 2 or 3 years.
5.
Never had an invitation to go to that. Never knew there was one.
I don't think, I'm gonna be honest with you, if I could check my records in where I have it, but I don't think they've held something since, the new DA in this, Essex County. The old DA, had a real strong lawyer or gentleman that worked for him that was very much in tune to the open meeting violations, okay? So very
I
quickly,
think-
she can call, she can even have something set up upstairs at Town Hall so that all different boards can come and they can run it for the town. She can, I know with everything else she needs to do, but you can get it set up that way. And under the procurement too, I think under 30B and chapter 149, I think it's worth it as a board member for you guys to see what has to happen when you go out for purchases.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, I thought if I stepped into their position, I'd be cooked. I'd just buy this, do that, get let's paint,
I think it's a good idea, so I think that we ought to,
What laws?
the
Who
town
says what?
should
Come
put this
on.
forward, that get these board members trained.
Yeah,
Timmy and Scott and
good
Roy.
intentions is
Is
not
Is
coming
there a
across
job
very good.
description for the superintendent?
Yes, there is.
Is there any chance that we can get a copy of that at some point?
Uh,
And also the
if-
function of the board, because
you
you
know,
don't, if you don't see the overdated day stuff and you don't sign, watch the bills, what, maybe I'm unclear with the function of the
Yeah,
board, if I'm wrong.
I can get you a job description for the superintendent, but not tonight, dear.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay.
I can swing by and get it.
Because we have them all in the office.
Sure. Okay.
Okay? Can we, yes, still.
Jack and I are not here to put your board down. or the superintendent, we just want to straighten out, just as you guys, just as you gentlemen do this, and then move forward.
All righty, can we move on to number 3? Purchase orders. Laura, we got,
So the only one we have on our desk now is for Tedford and Martin.
and what are these?
So we had to purchase some outlet covers for, and the ladies' room sign, for the ladies' room. And there was no handicap sign, so we made one out.
Just the wall, just wall plates?
Yeah, for $24.23.
Is that a capital expenditure, or is that a maintenance? I think that seems to be the question.
Well, if we had signs out there that they were, fell off the wall, then it would be maintenance.
Yeah.
Since they're new,
A ladies' room sign
Yes,
what's the,
for, it's
$1.99.
$1.99 for a ladies' room sign. What's that? 6 foot? Okay. Coax wall plate, 6 feet of coax, is that coaxial?
This is the wall plates that we purchased. We had open outlets with no covers.
Oh, you had
Covers
open outlets with the covers
Right.
missing?
Right. So it's a safety issue.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Scott, but on the Standard Electric invoices you guys signed off on,
Oh, I know.
he's got plates coming, so where are the plate covers if we had to go and buy more? I mean,
I mean, at 30 cents,
They're probably-
25 cents,
yeah,
I mean,
they're
it's no big
probably
deal,
out
but.
back, Joni.
It's on the garage.
Yeah, these are for the, offices, this building, the original building, from what I.
So they
understand.
never had covers on them, or an electrician
Well, I
upgraded
think
it and
what-
they didn't put covers?
I think what happened is when they,
there's no clerk of the works here to make sure everything is to code to something that we don't have appropriations for.
Some of these bills are back to October.
Okay, so there's no clerk of works.
Well,
We rolled the budget on you.
I understand that, and I'm
We're
just.
looking at, we're trying to get our arms around it.
Guess what?
Yeah.
If I don't have a clerk of the works on one of my jobs,
Yeah.
it's me or my maintenance man.
Yep.
And the other day, we're doing some bathrooms down at Depot Way, and he picked up on something, and I called the guy from the state, and I called the architect. We're the clerk of the works. So if you had plugs replaced and different things, I could see the ladies' room sign, because now it's not a co-ed bathroom, you got 2 bathrooms, that's fine. But if you had plugs replaced, part of that process of whatever it cost should have been that they put the plates on.
you know, out there what happened when they painted the walls in there? When the boys painted the walls, Laura, did they take the plates off? When they painted
No,
the old walls?
these were outlets with no covers on them, as long as I've been here.
Oh, they've never had covers on?
Right.
Because we moved everything out of there, now you can see
I
it
don't-
and there's no covers on.
I don't know, Scott. I'm just fixing the problem.
Well, she's new here too, so I mean,
I know.
I mean, I'm
Well,
not,
you know.
yeah.
Like I said, we just moved everything out of the back room, painted it so we could put our office manager's office out there. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to pay it.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
I signed it with purchase order.
Huh?
I signed it with.
Oh, you signed it? Okay. Key policy.
Okay, so those are in your folders. So what Jay and I did this week was we took inventory of all the different keys, who has the keys, because we have vendors that have keys, and we kind of outlined what was going on with the keys. So the next step would be for the board to give me some direction on how you want to set the policy for fees. It says right here.
Excuse me for a minute, Laura. Did you know that we changed the locks here?
I did not.
So
I did
the
not
locks
know
in
we
this office
changed the
and the
locks.
main office, when Marie left, and John left, we figured we'd better lock up everything.
Okay,
So we hired a locksmith to come in and change all the locks. The only
Uh-huh.
person that has a key is Laura.
okay.
So she's the only one that's responsible for everything. So,
Until I do have keys to distribute, but we need to
Until
talk
we get a
about-
policy.
So we get the policy, we will distribute the keys.
So what is what do you say, there is no policy now on keys?
There is no policy on keys.
Because I
So
know,
we want to set a policy where we have a new employee and they would get key 1, key 2, and maybe, whatever your policy is. They're going to sign for those keys.
yeah,
And then when they leave us or, whatever, we would get the keys back and have them sign that we return the keys.
Yeah.
So that we can keep track of all our keys.
well, it's kind of like the policy we have with the stations and the keys at the police station.
Exactly, and that they cut off the locks up
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So we know that we have key issues with,
but we-
Verizon and
right.
people that go up to the top
Right.
of the town. So we run out and we buy another lock and we get the keys and we distribute the keys.
so I think we need a key policy.
And that's
What-
kind of what I want to start talking about.
Okay.
Do you have a draft key policy?
No, not yet, I just wanted to see, you want me to just basically start one for you, or?
All right, so you want to put that off till the next meeting?
I would,
Okay.
right now, you keep the keys, you change all the locks.
Okay.
Let's go over this and try and figure out how we're gonna do,
Right.
because I mean, we've got a bunch of different people
Exactly, I don't even know. if
going
we
in and
have-
out of the stations, and who do we want the keys to go to? Do we want them to come here? Do we want them to go to the police department? I'd just like to take till the next meeting to look this over.
Okay, that's good.
Right now, we don't have any policy at all.
Not that I know of.
Scott, do you know if we have a policy in keys?
On this building,
Everything.
I know there's a policy to the
Walkers back,
stations. I know that of the keys that are at the police station. So I had to go up and they got misconstrued one time. They had the wrong keys. They were given the wrong key was getting to the maintenance guys up for Verizon. They were just cutting our keys off, our locks off. So I went up with John and got all the keys from the police station and then deciphered which ones went where and put new. That's the only policy that I've ever known is with the stations. As to the office here, I know we changed the locks one time on the office doors because we hadn't, we had a busy employee, and things were, records were going missing.
Okay, so we sort of had a policy.
So,
Okay.
And Scott, if I missed anything, or Jay, that you want to add to this, if there was other keys that we might have missed, I don't.
well, like I said, I agree with Roy. Let's bring it home, look at it, because I haven't been able to look at anything
Okay,
for a while. I haven't.
so we'll bring it next time, and I'll start writing a little policy to bring to the next
Yeah.
meeting, okay?
Yeah, and we can look at it and any
We have different people
input
supposed to go into
board,
the
of
different
course.
stations,
Yeah,
and with the chemicals and also like
the policy. I haven't
the
seen it.
engineer people and stuff. We
Yeah.
decide who we're gonna, or if they're gonna come here and get the keys so you
They
know they have it.
you can see Kinsman, you can see the contractors have those keys.
Right, I really feel like for station 2 or 3,
Right, so.
you know, maybe we should have to set up a thing where they have to come here,
Okay,
sign out and get a key, so you know where that key is and it's not, and the key should say or not, do not duplicate, so they can't get one made. I'd just like to look this over until our next meeting and make a decision.
I agree.
Well, I think we need an
I
interim
agree.
policy until John gets back. So the interim policy should be that Laura has the keys to this office and that office.
Right, she's the only one that has the key to it right now.
Yeah,
Right, that's an
Yeah.
interim policy.
Yeah.
When John comes back, John might have a policy somewhere in there, you know, already. So that,
I'm not going there.
No, but I mean, for now, Laura, she changed the locks
yeah,
on both offices. She has the key.
but all
And let her keep
operations
it that
are
way.
okay as they
Let's look
are.
this over for
Yeah.
a week or two
Yeah.
and decide who is and who isn't.
Okay. Truck 5.
Okay, so, a little packet in there on truck 5, and that's our 1999 F-350 utility truck. And,
Truck 5's the one that's junk out there, right?
that we had towed here, so that's the one we're talking about tonight, Scott.
Yeah.
December 18th, we're operating the truck up in Salisbury, the gas tank fell out in the middle of Route 1. And the guys were able to rope it up, and they got it to Walls Ford, who put it up on the lift and discovered that the frame and where we mount the gas tank to was so routed that they wouldn't touch the truck, and they recommend us scrapping it. So we had Jimmy
Mason?
I'm sorry, from Rowley Automotive
Yeah.
come and look at it. And he's advising us, you can read it, basically, he can't give us a price, he wants to take the bed off of it and redo the frame, and there was a lot involved, I wish Jay was here.
You know
Did you
what?
guys talk to Jay
You know,
about this?
that truck's ready to break in half, Laura. I've been afraid of that thing for a while.
We put too much money into it, so we gotta do something different.
Well-
I'm not sure what to do, but
Let's get the new one back,
What year is that truck?
99,
99,
We did,
How many miles
ask,
on it?
160. What it says here.
160,000.
So this is the truck that Jimmy inspected before we inspected the truck.
We just put $1,100 in the brakes and it was 2 days, 3 days later.
Yeah,
they-
but
Jimmy
made-
said the brakes needed to be fixed, so we put the $1,200 or $1,400 into the brakes. And then we got it inspected, and the inspectors came in.
And they
and
passed.
it.
Next day, the gas tank fell out.
What were they doing when at that point? You said the truck was in Salisbury. They have anything in the truck at the time?
I don't know, Jack.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't. I remember talking to John and him telling me that it was at Walls and that the gas tank had fallen out. And my first question is everyone all right? You know, because when your gas tank falls out, you know,
it also had 40 gallons of gas in it.
that's like I
And
said.
that
I
gas,
just
it was fully
you know.
loaded, and the guys managed.
Well, it's
You gotta
probably
give them credit for trying.
it's probably a good thing that it was a full tank
Well,
when it fell out,
I don't
because
know.
an empty tank is worse.
Caught a fire.
Yeah, boom.
We did, Tim, there was a conversation with you to instruct Jimmy to come here and try to pump the gas out and put it in into the other trucks. We haven't done that yet. I need to get a vote on that, if you want to continue to try to at least get the gas out of it. We
Okay.
can't tow it, you know, it's here. So I don't know what you want to do with the gas that's in the tank.
You gotta get it transferred, so what do you wanna do?
It's got 40 gallons in it.
It's full. It's a full tank of gas.
Give a kid the siphon it.
Why would
Sure
they,
won't.
why would they?
Can't do that. No.
John, we're in the wetlands.
Just thinking of way back when.
Why were they in Salisbury?
I don't. I don't have a clue as to that one.
They might have been going up to Nichols. I should have asked. I didn't.
Who was driving it when this happened?
So Rob
Rob was driving
was
it?
driving it, and
Oh.
No, wait a minute, I do remember this point on that truck. How did it come up? They were going to one of the salvage yards, which might have been one I go to all the time when I pick up junk and stuff.
Salisbury salvage?
Salisbury salvage. They were
To get a
going
quote?
on the pot or something. They were going, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
I think John told me that they were going with a piece of,
To get the price, but,
to get the price of, spot price to get rid of it,
yeah.
to sell the scrap.
Oh, was that the wire that come out of Station 5?
No, I don't think so.
Was that what they were getting
No,
quotes
because I'm
from?
reading here that updated 1/28/13, that would have been what, yesterday?
Yeah, we ended
All
up
right, all
selling.
right.
So
Then it
it's an
wasn't
electric
that.
scrap.
Then it
I'm
wasn't
kinda waiting
that.
to see what
Yeah.
that's coming up from. The Solomon Metals and Lynn.
We decided at the last board meeting to get that scrap over to Amesbury.
Go to Amesbury, when they got over there, they wanted to take it off from the
We
wooden
called
wheel.
ahead, because we did get, I wanna say 5
Alright.
different quotes from different scrap
So what do we
yards.
do with truck 5, gentlemen?
What did
Well,
that, do we have a scrap?
for right now,
I'll
as
talk
far as I'm
to
concerned, we should empty out the gas tank. But we do not get rid of it, because all the plow stuff
Well,
should come off of it for
who do
another
we
day.
get to empty out the gas tank? You just can't have Joe Schmo come down here and pump the gas out, seeing as we're right on the edge of the bordering vegetated wetlands.
I say
So-
we use up the rest of it in a cornfield. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sounds like fun to me.
But I do want
Well,
to
mechanics do it all the time because they fix gas tanks, so,
Yeah.
but what?
Excuse me, I work in a garage. They make we have a piece of equipment. I can't volunteer it, but it's called a gas caddy. It's got a rotary hand pump on it, designed to empty the gas tank,
Maybe we
change
can-
the fuel pump.
Knowles might have one of theirs.
So maybe, I don't know if one of the local garages.
There we go,
Yeah,
maybe we can contact Knowles and see if they can,
Yeah.
if they can help us out with it to come down. Because I don't know, when we deal with
The
water.
other thing we could do is,
Gasoline.
we could hire Emerson Oil to transfer the fuel, so that.
You're gonna pay more money for that project, job than
I know.
than
Well,
the gas
the
is
town
worth.
has their accounts with Knowles.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not so
That's
much
right.
what the gas is
Also
worth,
lives oil,
the wetlands out back if something happens to Jack.
Yeah, I know
You know, yeah, with Knowles. So,
Right.
so why don't we
Can
contact,
I have Jay, can you make a motion to have Jay?
I'll make a motion to have Jay contact Knowles and see about getting the gas pumped out of that truck. Wait a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then once we get the gas out of it, we can decide what.
I just want to notice that we do not get rid of that truck with the plow setup on it. We'll save it for,
Well,
we replace it.
At least we can get it so that we can move it.
So, Roy, we did take all the tools out of it, and I'll have the guys take the plows.
No, what I'm saying is the plow setup.
Yeah,
I
I'll
mean,
have them take it.
You ain't gonna get $500 for the pickup, and
Well, we're not doing
we put
anything with
too
the
much
truck
into it
right
already.
now.
We're
So-
almost through you, Karen.
All right.
Item 7, update, 128,
Last
13 sold.
meeting, Jay talked to you about the scrap for the electric that we took out of the treatment plant.
Yes.
We had to put in the new,
Yep.
and the light department was generous. They put it on a reel
On the
for
wooden
us.
rolls, yeah.
And we called around to see the prices. And we were gonna go with Nichols, and when we called the other day, they didn't wanna bother taking it off the.
Off the
wheel.
roll.
So, we ended up back in Lynn because they were the next highest bidder. So we got $389.40 for the scrap. And, just wanted to update you on that.
Okay.
So that little project's done.
That's done. Good.
So we don't need to really get into this right now, but I just want to update you on the spring schedule, so that you guys know what's going to be happening here in the next month or two, as we wind into the summer. We have our annual hydrant flushing that we typically do in April. We are still talking about the town common project, where we need to replace a hydrant. And we're gonna replace the worn out gate valves on Independent and Main. With the board's approval, we will install the irrigation for the town common around the trees. We want to replace a broken gate valve on Main in Haverhill Street. And when Jay's here, he needs to speak to you about the treatment plan. We are scheduled to take well 2 off.
Oh, God.
In early, maybe April, I think is on the schedule. And we need to talk.
We're scheduled to take well 2 offline.
And 3, we have a tough spring season, and we're thinking about maybe putting an unforeseen water restriction on so that we can gauge. The guys are gonna have to be on top of this. They're gonna have to figure out, he has all the timing on this, but at the next
All right.
meeting, Jay hopefully will
All right,
be
yeah,
here,
he'll
and he
give
can
us
talk
the-
to you guys about
Okay.
this. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it
for
is, when you
us.
take two offline.
And you know one of our wells is really not functioning very well.
Yeah.
So our production, we're looking at that every day. We're doing it right now, even though we're.
Jay's gonna be at the next meeting?
And Jay will be here. So we have a lot of big projects.
Okay.
We're talking about our maintenance line. We're talking about parts that we need to buy for this.
Well, when you take 2 offline, it's huge, because
It's gonna
it's
be
the
big.
pillar of this town. And if you've got to take 2 offline, and you've
Um.
got one of the other stations, we've got, Station 3 is always been a problem, you know, and so, and we haven't had a very wet,
I know. We need
Winter.
some snow.
so,
Um,
okay.
Not that anybody wants to hear that. So those are, a couple of things going on, and the ongoing training for OSHA. We are continuing with the guys doing their OSHA training.
Mm-hmm.
We deal in asbestos and,
Yeah.
hazardous waste, and they are scheduled next month for their first round of OSHA training. So, just want you guys to know this is what, Jay and I are working on right now until John gets back. Is there anything else you guys need us to do, let us know. And now we're up to Karen's Summit.
Karen's, yes.
All right, well,
And the letters are in their packet,
Yeah.
Karen, so they know.
you should have 2 memos from me in your packet. We'll start with the debt for fiscal year 2013. As you remember, last February, we refinanced some debt for the town, and it resulted in quite a bit of savings in interest over the remaining time that we'll be paying those back. Our bond counsel mislabeled 2 of the issues.
Yes, I remember that.
And basically what happened is we had a Pingree piece that was town-owned but was labeled water, and I believe the garage was labeled the opposite way. So what happened was when we did the budgets for principal and interest for fiscal year 2013, you underfunded the water metrics this building by $1,535 principal and $30.92 interest. And that is something we'll need to have corrected at the special town meeting.
Okay.
And I believe that you have, because of a lot of the uncertainty that had to do with the water treatment plant and the notes and the timing, you have extra interest money that potentially you could move to cover this. Or you could do a transfer where you, a 4433B transfer where you ask the finance company to move it basically from one bucket to the other bucket.
The finance committee. Right?
And the board of selectmen.
And the board of selectmen.
Right.
That's an option.
Right.
You can go either.
Exactly, whichever the board prefers, but, it was a clerical error,
Mhm.
and, I do apologize.
Well, we do make
We all make
mistakes, Karen.
mistakes.
Exactly.
We all make mistakes. We're all perfect. It would be a perfect world.
The next item is the debt schedule for the water treatment plant, which the second page looks like this.
Yep.
I received notification from the state revolving fund that we are going to be permanently borrowed in their next offering, which is scheduled to be sometime in mid-March. So basically, what that means is that
It's,
we will
payments
need to start paying
go-
back.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, so we won't be on the payment schedule that we thought we were gonna be on.
The way it works,
March this year, like next month.
Yeah,
We're talking,
Yeah.
so we're permanently borrowing the debt prior to us finishing the project.
right,
Which is,
right,
which is
Right.
legal in the state. They're allowed 2 years
right, right.
prior to completion to permanently borrow.
But
We were not anticipating this
that's,
at
like I
all.
said, when we go to do the budget,
And
when
you're gonna
we're
see
in the
it-
process of
You're
doing
gonna
the
see this
budget.
in our budget.
right, and basically what happens, I spoke with the SRF and they, basically, they kind of float your project. Right now, they're giving you interim loans at 0.15%.
Right,
And now is the time that they say, okay, we're going to take our debt to market. And because, it's a favorable time in the market, we have other things that we need to sell. There were also several other communities that also have drinking water and
Mhm.
clean water in the area. I believe Newburyport, Gloucester,
yeah.
and so
Yeah.
we're all part of that pool.
right, right.
So basically, what that means is that, we start paying back the first of our 20 years in fiscal year 14.
Right, right, where we had figured that we weren't gonna do a total borrowing, we were gonna do a partial borrowing from it, and that first payments wouldn't be as much.
So our
Right.
first
Starting off.
payment, July 15, 2013, which is like 6 months away, we need $136,546.08. So
And
15 days into our fiscal FY14 budget, we have to come up with
and
that money.
what were we budgeting?
Nothing for
what-
FY14. We thought we'd have
We-
another year of
We
interim
thought we'd have
loans.
another year.
Because we're not finishing our project until March of 2014,
Right,
a year from now.
right.
A year from now. So
Right.
we were waiting, we assumed.
We have any choice on this, Karen? on this
We
project?
don't, we don't.
No,
Basically, it is what it is. And what the SRF will do is say, you don't spend all the money. What they'll do is 2 years after the completion of the permanent borrowing, they'll come back to you and say, did you spend all the money? If you say no, what they'll do is after 2 years, they'll rework your schedule, and then, your money that you didn't use will go to somebody else.
Okay.
But that has to do with the nature of the tax exempt bond. They have to wait that 2 years.
So Karen, where is
So we're
the
paying the
money?
payment?
Is the money coming here?
No, the money will work exactly the same way as it works now. Right now, it's kind of like in a pool that's earmarked for Rowley. Once it's permanently borrowed, it'll be in the Rowley fund. They will keep it, and you'll turn in your paperwork just like you do
just
now.
like we do now.
Nothing will change with respect to that. You'll turn your paperwork to DEP. DEP approves it, tells the state revolving fund it's okay to pay, and we'll get the money just like that.
So we're not we potentially might not draw, they still have the difference if we don't use the 10.9 million.
Exactly.
So we're not paying them back.
Well,
We're just gonna redo the debt schedule.
what will happen is you'll start paying, for the first 2 years, you'll pay
On money
as
that,
if you were, gonna borrow the entire thing. The first 2 years of this debt schedule are set. And then after that, if you have not spent all the money, then they'll make any adjustments.
so we're just gonna spend 699,603, and then 681,379.
Correct.
And then the following year, FY16,
Mm-hmm.
we potentially could lower our debt payment, is what she's saying.
Right.
Okay.
Will they pay interest on the money that we don't use in the
Yeah,
interim?
there you go.
No, they don't.
Stop laughing.
I was thinking we need a cookie bake sale or something. Oh, that's
Nice
raise the
try.
money.
Yeah.
See, I am concerned.
Cake and eat two kind of.
Jack gonna chuckle out of that one.
But this is basically all of the debt that the water department has. so you can see your total amount for fiscal year 14 is it 882?
882,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
And down on the bottom, I've broken it down by the months, so you
Yeah.
can kind of see how
Yeah.
the flow goes.
And good thing we're monthly billing, guys.
So we're gonna be okay with this, Laura, or?
I'm gonna have to speak to the finance team about this.
Yeah.
I believe we have a meeting tomorrow.
Well, yeah.
We have, because we have June 30th, we have no money, you know, we have to wait
Right.
till our money gets certified. July 1st, our budget and our cash flow is based on
Yeah.
our collections.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, we have to collect, just for this particular, we have to collect that money in 15 days to pay that money, to pay it to. I really have to start thinking about this and how we're gonna handle it.
Okay.
And there's gotta be a way, maybe a town meeting article or something we can carry money from one year to the next. I'm not sure, I have to talk with Debbie and figure this out.
Well, you'd be working with Karen,
Well, we
Debbie.
talked about these, you know,
yourself,
the reserve replacement
Sue
account. We talked about setting up, we can't call it stabilization, but we need some account that we can put money aside for unforeseen emergencies, and this I would consider as an unforeseen, we didn't know it.
right.
If we knew
Just
it, if
the
we knew it,
circumstances of them,
Right.
if we knew it, we would have fixed, you know, we would have worked, I just found out about this in
you know,
December.
taking
So,
the full, borrowing the full amount prior to
Right,
what we had planned on,
right.
so.
But I did have our financial advisor, you know, look at the numbers.
Yeah.
If we had gone out on the open market and borrowed, and we're still better off.
We're still better off,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, because if we had to gone out to a mutual
Right.
bond, we'd be paying a hell of a lot more than what we are.
Right.
So, yeah.
So we can
Alrighty,
do that.
so it is what it is, and we have to work with it, that's all, you know?
So is there anything we can do about the administration fee?
No, that's something that was there, you know, basically when you signed on for the loan.
Yes,
That
it's actually what, 0.5%?
It's 0.15%, and then there's a loan origination fee, which I would assume goes to pay for the cost of the borrowing.
Well, it also goes for the
no, so their admin cost for the state revolving fund is $16,500, and then $54,985 origination fee on top of a $12,500 additional fee for our bond counsel to review all of this. And you're gonna see that in the budget.
Yeah.
So when you look at our maintenance line and we're up 15%, $100,000 is going right to this loan in our maintenance line, just to pay our covered fees.
Right.
So we went from 455 to 523. I'm looking at the budget, guys, they're trying to level fund us. I don't know how we're gonna do it. And continue to operate the water department in hydrants and gate valves and the real work that we're doing here, besides all this other stuff that's going on with the trucks that we have. We have some things to talk about tonight, and maybe we can touch on it and then come back and continue this meeting. Because I'll go into a capital project, a capital budget with you for the first time ever. We heard it loud and clear. They don't want it in the maintenance line, but that's where the water enterprise capital.
I never said I didn't want a maintenance line, 'cause I know nothing about it.
But, spending capital expenditures in the maintenance line is the nature of the enterprise.
Oh,
and
absolutely. I
And we're
understand that,
changing
Laura.
that. We are. I got it, office furniture, capital. And we're gonna start seeing, so it's transparent. And that's something the board and I have to work on. So we're gonna go through this quickly tonight and then continue it.
What you say, we're gonna meet
We get time because they canceled our meeting next week.
Right, but under state law, we have to be 120 days prior to their town meeting. And I did put in the packet,
We
Six.
submit a draft budget to the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, so either we put in $1 draft budget and get one over there.
Well, didn't we
No.
submit a draft budget? Well,
No.
I thought we did,
No. We were waiting for the finance team was originally gonna do the budget, or there was some conversation that we were, but right now Debbie has instructed me and John to meet with you and do a budget. So that's what I'm here tonight to do. What is this, Joan, May 16th?
May 6th.
May 6th.
I got notice today, town meeting is set for May 6th.
So 120
It's
days.
very
is
early this
right
year.
now. We need to get something to town hall soon. So, on that note, you want to jump into
How can we
this?
go with that? See if we get-
if Karen, well, you staying for the budget?
No, I think I'll let you guys start working on that.
Oh, thanks.
Then how about with the
Thanks, Karen. You want to stay for the budget?
Oh, I'd love to.
Oh, you're gonna have fun with it anyway.
Well, I'd rather let you get started.
Oh, what a gal.
Help with the next one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sharon.
If you guys
Thank you.
have any questions about the debt, I'm always available to answer any questions.
Yeah. so much
You know where to find me? Tunnel?
Corner office.
I guess it is.
Yeah, it is. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So attached to the Debbie Egan letter, I started a draft of what I think are special meeting articles.
Attached to the Debbie Egan
I'll
letter.
talk to you tomorrow. Excuse me.
I don't know. Oh, here we go. Let's do it. Attached to the Debbie Egan letter. Oh, is this it? Is this what you're talking about?
So this letter here, this was Debbie on it.
Yes, I'm fine.
All right.
Okay, so attached to that, I started 5, I think, potential special town meeting articles that is different from here. So depending on what decisions are made, we need to work these into the budget either way. So the first special town meeting is based on Karen Summit's refunding. So we would have a special town meeting article for $1,535 to move from principal to interest, and then
Yeah.
from interest to interest, so we can correct that.
Yep.
The garage article, if that's a vote, I'm throwing that out there, it's potential. There would be a garage
fix?
article to fix the situation
To
that we're
fix the
in.
situation,
Potential.
potential.
Replacement of truck 5 and truck 10, which is another truck that we need to talk about. We'll get into the trucks in the capital plan in a minute, but that's $120,000 right there. The gate valve exerciser, which has been on the radar here for about 20 years. We have a gate valve exerciser that doesn't count. So when we go out to do our gate valves, the guys have to count and potentially could break something because we don't have this equipment that actually tells us the amount that we're turning.
Because it's
It's-
30 years
And we
old.
try to fix it. Since
know.
I've been here, it's
I
not,
know.
I've seen some bills to try to fix it. It's
I
not fixable. It really, it's a 5,000 capital expenditure that is needed for the guys to do their work. It's your choice.
Well-
So these are things that have been on the radar for a while. And then the storage area for the piping, for the back lot that we talked about, you know, put whatever, Roy, I think,
He's got a tin roof
Tin
with chain
roof or
link
something.
fence.
that's
gate.
needed. So those were stuff that I started putting together, for special town meeting articles. That would be FY13 money to, you know, correct and to purchase. So, we'll get into this. So basically, we're level funding all the wages, so there's no increases for anybody here at the water department. And maybe we should just go through each sheet and then keep your cover out. Form 2 is the debt schedule, and that's what Karen just gave you. So our debt this year was $442,726. Next year, our debt is $810,599.59, or an 83% increase. So
And that's because of the note in the plan.
that's because of the note on the plant that we thought we had another year on. So that's what's going on with the debt. It's straightforward. We have to pay those bills. I mean, that's what it costs. The next section is our indirect cost, and I worked with Sue Bailey. We kind of starting to make a resume for what we spend on indirect cost. What does the town accountant do for the water department? What does the town treasurer do for the water department? We actually pay for the audit for Powers and Sullivan. So in each fiscal year, we have to pay back our health insurance cost, our life insurance cost, our Medicare cost, and I broke it all out by single family, you know, in the spreadsheet behind there is how I got to the numbers. Basically, I have it as a decrease because we don't have to pay back the 2010 deficit, which was $70,000. So we actually are going to have a reduction in indirect cost of 24%. So we're going to go from 192 to 512, 192, 512 to 145. 518, and that has to do with the deficit that we're not paying back. And this kind of Form 3 kind of breaks it all out to our retirement, our life insurance, you know, so you can get where the totals came from. Pretty straightforward, and Sue and I have worked on that. Those are kind of fixed costs for us. And then the salaries are staying the same, so it's the same sheet that we submitted to the Board of Selectmen last year. We'll submit the same this year. And now we get into the fund. Is our expense line, and then right behind that is the new capital account. So depending on how we want to handle the capital line, I have to put it in or out of the maintenance line, depending on how you guys want to handle this.
I'm kind of lost here, Laura. So we got the,
So you have a sheet, Form 5, which is your water expense sheet.
water expense, Form 5. Yeah.
Right, and then right behind that you have your capital, which is the first time capital budget for the water department.
Okay.
So what I did with the capital, let's start there because this is kind of important for me to get some direction. So Jay and I have worked on doing a survey of our infrastructure in FY12 and 13, and we have now inventoried all our fire hydrants. And we know the ones prior to 1950 all the way up to today, when they were installed, where they're installed, and what brand they are. And then we took our system valves. We have by, you know, the 6-inch, the 8-inch, the 10-inch, how many we have, how many miles we have of them, the year they were installed, their useful life. And then the last sheet there is our trucks. And the trucks are, and we talked a little bit about the numbering of the trucks, which is a little confusing, Jack, as you would know. we actually have a truck 13, but we only have 5 trucks. So just bear with me. So truck 1 is John's truck, and that's a new truck that was purchased in 2012, and it has a 5-year useful life under gas fee. Truck 4 is the Ranger, and that's a 2002 pickup, and that really is the truck that we use every day. You see it riding around for the meters, minor, hydrant valve, changing. We use the Ranger, truck 4. Truck 5 is the one that we talked about tonight, which is a 1999 4x4 pickup F350, which is not running. So we have a real problem with that. Truck 7 is our F450, the utility crane, and that was purchased in 2000. The useful life on that truck is 10 years. Truck 9 is our F350, a 4x4 pickup, and that's a 2009 truck. Then truck 10 is the dump truck, and that's a 1989 dump truck. And Roy, we have clutch problems and miscellaneous things going on with truck 10. And truck 13 is another F350 that was purchased in 2003. Then we have our air compressor that was purchased in 1991. The backhoe loader, the Caterpillar, which is a 2004. And we currently have 2 utility trailers for moving the lawnmower and miscellaneous things around. So this is kind of something we need to talk about when we get into the 5-year capital plan. So what we're going to start doing is taking out the oldest fire hydrants, and we're going to replace them with one brand, the old wood brand, so that we don't have to stock parts in the back for all the different kinds of fire hydrants. We're going to move everybody in town to one brand and have parts to fix the one type of fire hydrant. So when we looked at our inventory, we have to stock all kinds of different parts for the hydrants depending on what brand they are. They don't all fit on each. So we started looking at that and looking at our old hydrants that I believe were 1950 and older. So every year we're going to replace 4 hydrants at a total cost of $15,000, and you can see the 5-year plan is going to be an actual schedule. We'll tell you what street we're on and what hydrant's going to be replaced. The next thing we're going to start doing is 2 major gate valve replacements every year. The original gate valve system is 60 years old, and we got to start fixing these because just the other day we broke 3 more, and I know I have 3 other gate valve projects coming up this spring. And that's going to be 2 gate valves.
3 that broke, Laura, where were they in?
Over by the highway department.
Independence Street?
Yep. So we're going to start our gate valve repair and replacement every year, and we're hopefully going to do 2 a year. New behavior is cleaning our wells and cleaning our tank. So well cleaning is $15,000, and we're going to start with well 2. And the cleaning the tank is every 5 years, and this is the year we have to clean our tank for our DEP inspection.
Cleaning the tank?
The actual inside of the tank, Scott. It's been 5 years since we've done that.
Prospect Hill tank?
Yep, it's got to be cleaned.
Yeah.
We did the outside, we inspected, and there's a whole beautiful report about, the whole structure outside. And there's a talk about the actual rail on the top of the tank that needs to be addressed. It is weak, and when the guys go up on the tank, there's potential liability for the town. So something we can talk about, welding it or fixing the railing. I'll be talking with Jay about that. It was flagged on our inspection, but we did pass inspection, but we need to address it. It's getting rusted and it needs to be fixed. We would like to replace an FY14 meter truck 4, which is the meter truck. We want to start talking about the loader and the treatment plant, and depending on if there's a private company or our guys up there, we're going to talk a little bit about how we have to clean and what equipment we need up there for cleaning the tanks out. And the loader's gonna be a very important piece of it. And the state revolving fund has supported it for us in the SRF funding.
There's a line item for
Yeah.
it in the SRF fund.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about our loader, which is $100,000. That's a big piece of equipment that costs a lot of money. The air compressor, which we share with the light department, we share with the fire, our air compressor goes out
Oh,
all
yeah.
the time. And we're happy to do that, but we think that we need to start looking at replacing the air compressor for $15,000. So those were FY14 expenditures for capital. $200,000 is what those items add up to be. And there's a whole capital plan for every year. I'll just give you this. We want to start an FY16. Fennel Drive extension will need to be addressed. And we talked about extending the loop from Fox Meadow down Central Street. There's a couple of, extensions that we want to start thinking about in the next 10 years. But the first one up is 3 years from now in FY16, and that's a big cost of $250,000.
They still have grant programs for the,
I just
for
saw
looping.
actually our federal government, and I just got a whole bunch of emails, and I'm following the grants. Right now they all seem to be sewer, not water. But I just got an email the other day, I didn't read through the whole thing yet, that there is a movement for federal water, drinking water grants, and I would be sure that Rowley would be a small town. We're building our treatment plant. We're moving the water. We would be a good candidate. You know the application of Common Act. You know where we stack in that world, and I believe we would stack very well with some of the funding. I'll be following it and bringing it to you when I think it's appropriate. Right now, it's all in the federal government, and their budget is looking pretty bad, but that's another story. So let's keep that in mind as we go through quickly the expenditures on Form 5. And what I did here is break out FY14 for this building, the 401 Central Street building, and the treatment plant, which is only 4 months of operation. So when we look at the treatment plant request here, that's from April to June. Okay?
Excuse me for 1 second. The capital plan for this coming year is $200,000.
For FY14. There are some capital items on this little sheet here, and depending on how we talk about things with the selectmen and the finance team, we could see moving some of our capital out of FY13 into a capital plan.
Okay.
I'm not sure how the transition is going to be made.
But the $200,000, does that include that loader we're talking about, for needed for the plant?
No.
No, the
That's-
loader comes out of the SRF fund.
Right, so this $100,000 is our share of what we would have to pay for the loader. We're not allowed to, and I have to check the DEP on this, we're not allowed to actually store any fuel
On site.
on site. So we can't park a loader up there. We can't park a dump truck up there. So when the SRF looked at our project, they said, well, the loader will be up there 2 weeks a month. So the other 3 weeks, it's here being worked on other projects. So they will only fund it for different amount of time. And I can go through all that with you. It's a complicated formula that the state figured out for the amount of work we would need at the treatment plant, and then where the loaders park the other time we're not using it. So that's our share. 100,000 is our share for the loader. So keep that in mind. What I did was, the big part of what's going to go on, and depending, the private company is going to be a big piece of what's going to, I need to get that information sooner than later to figure out this budget. Because I don't know if you would contract some of these things into a private company versus us doing it. This budget is based on real guys' experience being able to run the treatment plant. We're not adding any staff. we're gonna have to figure out all the split shifting and all that stuff based on level funded budget. That's kind of the approach. I'm not adding anybody to the staff. So, we have hazardous waste at the new treatment plant. And based on the chemicals, the little lab that we have set up, and our guys are trained to run the lab, we are going to be measuring our pH levels. And depending on our pH levels, we will decide if it's hazardous waste at $1.50 a ton or if it's at 30 cents a ton. I don't know that yet. Weston Sampson kind of gave me an idea of cleaning in place filters waste, which is CIP waste. You can start hearing a lot of different initials and things like that. I'm still learning myself. But roughly it's $5,000 a month for our guys with our loader to fill the backhoe and deliver it to where it needs to go. If you want to hire an outside company to do that, we would have to procure it. We're going to have to get bids. And I'm roughly getting some ideas of $8,000 to $10,000 a month with some of the neighboring towns, what their waste is producing. So I'm gauging it based on our area. It's a ballpark. So I put in $20,000 for that. Then we have our sampling.
Excuse me, 20,000 a month?
No, for the 4 months, 5,000 a month. I'm gauging
Okay,
that. It could be up to 10. I just want to warn you, there's some big numbers on cleaning it based on the hazardous.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
wouldn't be transporting it. We'd be loading it probably, but we wouldn't be transporting it.
Okay, so we can talk about all
Yeah.
those details. I'm just assuming that we're doing all the work right now
Yeah.
with our back loader and our truck.
Yeah, that, you know,
Yeah.
So that stuff, a lot of that stuff goes far away too.
So you know how it works, Roy. We would get somebody like you to come and take it away. So basically, we're just 5,000. That could be 2. I don't know. I'm putting in 5. That's what, I've heard higher numbers from my neighboring communities with treatment plants. So the next one is our water sampling and treatment for the treatment plant. And basically, we are going to be combining well 3 and 5 into one sample, so we're going to save some money in our water sampling. And I'm gauging $500 a month or $2,000 in water sampling for the treatment plant. And there's a whole lab, I wish I brought it, of what the guys will be up there testing every day, what they need to do for DEP. The chemicals and we think we're going to be able to save a lot of money here, but I don't know this yet. We're going to add 8 new chemicals to the treatment plant on top of the chemicals that we're already treating right now. We're going to be running the wells the way they are now, and we're adding the treatment plant. So we can have 12 or 13 different chemicals that we need to have on hand. So roughly $5,000 a month or $20,000 for the 4 months. There's lab supplies that will be given with the treatment plant, but every time we test something, we have to dispose of it. So all these little containers, they're going to give us enough for a couple of, testing, but we have to start stocking it. They give us aprons and those little suits and the gloves. That's all going to be provided, but we're going to have to start replacing that as we spill things or, we go through our OSHA training and we learn what we need. So basically I put in $500 just for miscellaneous lab supplies that we might need. Then we get into our little tool supplies. The building doesn't come with a workbench. And Jay made a list of all the tools that we're going to need up there, so because we do our own repairs. Yeah. We put in $1,000 for that. Engineering retainer, we probably don't need this. This could be an area where you might say, Laura, cut it out. My surrounding communities say put a little bit of money in just in case we start operating the plant and we realize the contracts ran out and we might need an engineering question answered. So I put some money in there, but we can cut that right out. The electric for the treatment plant, we're going to be running lights and power and all that. $8,000. Heating is our gas, $2,000. We will have liability insurance up there, and I have to work with Debbie Egan on this. Right now, our annual premium is $20,000 for what we have, and I'm figuring $4,000 for the treatment. That could be low. I really don't know until I talk to Debbie. We're going to have Comcast up there, so we're going to have our monthly Comcast bill. We'll have our phone, the Nextel and all the other phones that we have up there is $1,000. The water system distribution and treatment, I'm roughly $1,000 a month for that. And office expenses, we do our own cleaning, so I have to buy toilet paper and paper towels and Windex and whatever needs we have. So for 4 months of the water treatment plant, I'm estimating $68,120, roughly $17,000 a month for expenses for the treatment plant.
What form is that on?
Form 5, you're on Form 5.
So the total request for that period is what?
$68,120, and I really, but I can talk with, the engineering, maybe I could cut out of there. I just wouldn't want to be caught needing an engineer and not being able to fund it. So then, if you look down the middle column, which is the 401 Central Street request, and I kind of did last year versus this year. The big change in this column is that we're adding the expense for the borrowing and some legal cost. And the big reduction is that if we purchase these trucks on our capital plan, we can reduce our maintenance from $33,000 to $15,000, and that number can come lower. Our maintenance expenses here on our vehicles to keep these old trucks running are getting pretty expensive. So that's a choice. I mean, you're gonna have to kind of give me some direction here, what you want to do with the trucks. Because either you're gonna pay in repairing them or you're gonna buy a new one. So you gotta kind of let me know what you want to do. The stamps are going up, I think today. I want to say they went up. So
5 cents?
yeah, it's ridiculous. We're trying to get people to do e-bills. We weren't as successful with that. We have 1 or 2 people that we signed up for that program. So basically everybody's being mailed a bill every month. So that's an expense that's going up. And I did put in some employment physicals. If you did hire a new person, I'm not sure. I think there's some medical, we pay for their physicals for a new hire. So I don't know about that, what direction you're going here. None of this budget has any private company in here. And I would put a line in here for you to throw a number in the next couple of weeks as we talk about that. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I'm trying to level fund this building. I can't see us cutting back in parts. I put in Conservation Commission and permitting, which is, Debbie asked me to increase the categories, start breaking things out to be more transparent. We spend a lot of money in permitting, as you know. All our land is in the wetlands. Every time we have an issue, we're permitting it. So we threw in some money there. And DEP, the consumer report, I don't think every year, in fact, I'll be working on that shortly. It's due by June 30th. We have to distribute an annual report on our chemicals and our treatment to every resident in town. And we have to print it and draft it and mail it, and it's
unfunded mandate.
It's unfunded mandate, and they are working, Scott, to go, if we have it on our website, and I'll be working with DEP on that. I haven't figured out how would I know every resident could have access to a computer. If we can guarantee that everybody had access and could get it off the website, I believe there will be a waiver that we won't have to mail it. but I'm not sure. I'll be working with them on that, and I will keep you updated. It's kind of, talking with other communities, I think most people are gonna mail it with a little note in there saying, next year, you're gonna be electronic, so go to our website, or go to the library, or whatever we decide to do.
I think the town reports, all online now too, isn't it?
Yeah, this is mandated by DEP though. It's federal. We have to say what's going on with our, with all our testing, what we're finding.
Right.
The manganese, we have to tell you, what
Right.
we're actually finding. We're still under administrative consent order, which everybody kind of seemed to forget, but I work constantly with DEP on that. Just this week, Jay had a whole bunch of requests from DEP on our testing, and we did meet our requirements, and we submitted that. And in fact, you signed a bill today. We had to, express mail it and overnight it, and that was all going to DEP, and that's what those costs are from our postage. So I like, maybe if you guys could go home and...
Now? Meeting adjourned?
No.
I'm sorry.
No, start looking at this, and then we can meet again in 2 days, or you guys, whatever, want to meet on Monday, and we can start really hashing this. This was my first stab at this alone. I might have missed a few things.
Well, let me just ask one question. So on Form 5, that's the big item that's broken down with some,
Right, and I added more categories.
and you and Jay got together to
Right,
come up with some of these numbers based
Right.
on what Weston and Sampson.
and based on Jay, because Jay ran the treatment plan up in Newburyport, he's experienced.
Yeah.
He's trained, he can do this. So that's based on his knowledge of running a treatment plan in another town. So he
That's
kind
not the
of,
same kind though, is it?
no, but he knew exactly what the lab kind of testing was gonna be.
So the second column is the normal budget with everything that we got to run. And
Right.
then the 68,000 is the stuff that's added to it for the 4 months we
Right.
operate our new plan.
So on page 1, Tim, so under expenses, I have line 4 is the maintenance line, that's the 401 Central Street.
Yeah,
And then line 5 is the treatment plan.
okay.
All right, and I could add another line here for a private company, just throw that in for now, even though we haven't decided on that. Just so we could throw another line in here to the selectmen and let them know we're looking into this. So that will have to be added into this budget somewhere, and it probably will be outside sources, services, and I think it'll go in our maintenance line.
How much time do we have to give the Board of Selectmen a draft budget?
So we have 120 days from May 6th, and I have a calendar here, so we need to do this like next week. I
Yeah.
think we need to get this to
Yeah.
the selectmen, even if they don't look at it, we at least turned it in, and then
Well-
we can come, to the selectmen.
Well, if we give them a draft budget,
Yeah.
it'll be being continually updated and
Right.
upgraded, because you'll be working with the
Fit,
with the team,
right,
okay, to finalize numbers, but to adhere to state law, we have to have a draft budget in 120 days.
so really, March, April, May is
Right.
90 days,
Right.
so we're on the wire here.
So,
Yeah, because of the situation,
Right.
that arose here, we're doing the best we can. So I'd like to get something over to them, and then last year, I think we went all the way to the end of March with the finance, it was a
Yeah, I
long
remember.
process. And I think, Jamie will be meeting with your group and, of course, with the selectmen, and I don't know if the finance team, I'll find out tomorrow night, if they want to go through all of this first before I turn it, I don't know what the protocol with the group is. I'll find out tomorrow.
Just getting back to one of these, you said maybe add a category for, to cover the cost of a subcontract.
I think we should be transparent. I think what I'm hearing loud and clear is that people want to see what they're voting on. They want to know what the water department is doing. So I think it would be good right on the front sheet, you know, right under maintenance treatment plant, line 6 will turn to private treatment. I don't know what I'll call it. I'll find out. What did you call it, Roy, a private company or?
It's basically privatizing. They were- Basically, all I wanted to do was have them come
For
in.
the treatment plant.
Yes, that's just for treatment.
And
nothing
you
else.
might decide you want to do that. I want to add something, like $1 onto that
Well,
line. So
right
we-
now, didn't Jason say that he can run the plant without bringing a
Right,
company?
right now, with our staff, we feel they're all licensed operators for DEP. The T2, T2 training, guys all have it. It's a choice, though, you know, we gotta talk about this.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, we don't want to add in there something that's added to it. If we're able to run with our personnel
So what we don't
for this
know.
period, you
Right.
know, it'd be something we're looking for in the future.
We
What do we
would,
need, you know, are we getting a good, did we spend the money wisely?
right, and then you can look into, you know, what those contracts will be. These, when they come in, they're gonna do very beautiful, I've seen some of the presentations. They're gonna do everything from beginning to end. You could have the Rolls-Royce treatment plant from the private company, or you could have the scaled-down treatment plant. And then you have your guys. So you're gonna have to look at all the different costs into this budget for FY14. You need to have somebody trained and operated running the treatment plant when they give us the key.
Well, the contractor's gonna train our guys.
Right,
Right,
they're gonna
they
start,
should,
yeah.
The
Yeah.
last month there, they're
Yeah.
gonna be running the plant
Yeah.
for us.
And
they're
what
gonna be training
happens-
our people.
What
And then
happens,
they're gonna-
DEP is gonna be here, so I'm assuming DEP will be here like beginning February, a year from now, and they'll be standing with Jay and whoever is up there running the treatment plant and testing them for a whole month on how they are operating our before we can turn the keys over, they're gonna be trained operators with DEP approval at the treatment plant. And I believe if it's a private company, they're gonna be up there with DEP doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So we gotta figure all that out, because the private company might have to come in here in December to start. I don't know, I haven't really come.
Well, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that we have it covered now for that period
You
to
do.
complete up to fiscal year 14.
What we don't have in here is DEP, and if we go to split shifts, if we end up having a water band, or if we end up having, you know, a high demand, we might be running that plant in the beginning days on end. I mean, 24 hours, we run a 24/7 day a week operation here.
Right, but we
People
only
don't know
have an
that.
8-hour shift. but
So that's not in the wage line.
Where I'm going with this is that do we need to put some extra money in here, to regardless whether we have a private entity in there running that plant, or having our guys maybe run more time because
Yes.
they need, so
I
we
heard
need
to
to have-
level fund it, yeah.
we need to have a reserve fund, so to speak?
Yep.
Okay,
And you might use it and you might not. I mean, but we have to plan today, as John would say, 18 months from now. We gotta know in our crystal ball what's gonna happen 18 months from now, and it's hard.
before John left, did he run over some of his figures with you before he?
John and I started this in October,
Yeah.
but we got a little sidetracked with all the other things that were going on
Yeah.
in here from November and December. We're very busy with public information requests and other things we were doing, so we didn't really get back to it, unfortunately. You know, we have to talk to the union, because all these jobs would have to be upgraded, and Debbie Egan, you know, would have to get involved in the personnel plan,
What do you mean they have to be upgraded?
You know, it's a big responsibility, and,
Change in work conditions
is.
is a term for it.
yeah, and so we would need to get that in place, and I don't know what grade they would be. I've looked
They're
at
gonna
other.
redo their job descriptions.
Yeah, so that's something that's been on the radar for a while. There's a lot of stuff that's still in play, and this budget, like Scott said, we're not done.
Yeah, but
This
we
is our
just,
No, this
first
is
go at
just the
it.
first stab at it.
This is the first
but
go
if we
at
had the
it.
staff to run the plant now, do we need to have the staff get more training to be able to run that plant?
No, you're,
Or do they need to have a job description upgrade to
so
run that plant?
I feel, talking with the guys, that they all are capable of going through the training that's gonna be provided to us through our contract
Yeah.
to learn how to operate that plant.
Yeah.
You have guys back there that have operated treatment plants. They might have not operated the pole membrane, but they know how to do it.
Yeah,
So I feel comfortable, and I can't speak for John or you or anybody, I feel comfortable with the guys we have, that they can do it. With a little guidance with DEP and all the contractors up there. The SCADA system training starts in March this year. That's a whole new on-call training. We're not on the old analog phone system, it's all computerized. That's gonna be all new behavior, and the guys will start training on that. Rob, I believe, is gonna run the SCADA system here in this building, and the treatment plant will correct itself. And you need an operator to say, hey, wait a minute, treatment plant, we don't wanna go down this road, we wanna go down this. We have to train Rob how to do that, but he is licensed to do that. So we gotta start looking at the quality and quantity of people that we have here and the hours that we're gonna need them.
so in other words, do we have to upgrade their job descriptions
Yes.
to handle the SCADA operation?
And the treatment plant, I would see that would be an upgrade, definitely.
Because it's not, there's nothing in their job descriptions about treatment plant. Nothing.
Right now, Laura, do you have, all the employees now, are they
So,
up to par
so,
with, to go in, move in, or do they
Yeah.
have to still
no, actually,
perform a little
we
upgrade?
started about, well, when I started here, we started looking
Yeah.
at their licenses, and we're
Yeah.
gonna get them all up on the wall. That's
Right,
one of my
right.
goals, so everybody walking in here knows these guys are operators and they're licensed. The OSHA training was kind of weak here, we didn't send our guys to, that needed to be done, and we're starting that. There's, I believe, a class in February and then one in
Yeah,
March.
it's coming up now.
They're gonna, so there'll be OSHA training ready
Yeah.
for when we open that plant up. And they should be trained for just our operation here, because we are dealing in hazardous waste. We are. So I think I feel comfortable, they're all gonna be, Jay's a T3, a T3 distribution and a 3T, so he's above our grade. Rob and Ralph and Jason Nealon are both T2s or getting to the T2s, they're taking the
T2.
test.
T1 and T2.
So we will by the summer be all trained and licensed to operate the treatment plant. And our new distribution, the whole system is gonna be upgraded from a T1 to a T2, the whole system, because of the
Right.
treatment plant.
T1, T2, D2, Jack, the
Yeah,
distribution.
T2, you gotta have it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to run.
And they're all working on that, or they're
Good.
right now being tested and going to be trained to do that. So they've worked really hard at that, and that's been kind of added to their job, and they took it on and they've done it. It's a lot of, classes and tests, and it's not an easy test to take. So.
Because
yeah.
we pay for all this schooling, so.
Right, we do. It benefits us, Scott.
It does,
Yeah.
yes it does.
It's part of their requirement. And
Yes, it
also,
does.
we talked about the hydraulic licenses. That's been something, the different licenses for their vehicles. Right now, Ralph has to be getting his hydraulic license, will be the next one, but the rest of the guys can operate the backhoe.
Do we have a list of what's needed for these guys as far as?
Definitely. Yep. I have
So
all
they
of
need
that.
they need a T2 and a D2 license to run the new plant, but they need a T1 and a D2 license to run it now.
Right now, the way we are sitting right now, that's correct.
Right.
Yeah. And we will all
But
go.
the other licenses, like they need, with the training, do they need certifications and other things?
So the OSHA training would be,
So that's required though?
it is.
Okay. So what do they require for OSHA training?
Right now, the one they're going for this next month is asbestos. So when we open up our water mains, we still have asbestos on it.
Yeah.
People say that, we're in the dirt. We are, guys. It's messy, and when it's wet, it's really messy. And it's icy and cold out there. The last water break was not pleasant.
Yeah.
I drove over there, 7 hours in that mess was not a good situation. They handled it well. They're trained. They do it. They have suits and they dispose of it. They do what they need to do with it. So, we're working on that. We really are working hard here on the everyday operations, which is all underground, so nobody really sees it. It's not pretty. So,
So that we haven't,
They
people
put
come
you
in
in
and give
the
us
hole,
training?
no, they actually go to Mass Waterworks Association. Yeah, they actually have to go to school, and it's for the whole state.
They suited you up yet? Put you
No,
in the
not
hole
me.
yet?
No. No, I had to unload the chemicals one day off the 18-wheeler. That was enough for me. The guy's like, "Can you just juggle that?" These big tanks of liquid. I'm like, okay. So they get me out there once in a while. No, they really, I feel, have done a great job at handling the situation.
When he gets breaks in the winter and it's cold, it's brutal.
Well, that
it's
one.
brutal. I mean, the cold itself is brutal, and then to be soaked and you're up to here in water, and it's not.
Or frozen.
Oh yeah.
So by the next meeting, we need to come up with a number for maybe like a reserve fund for added staff
So I'm going to ask
or change in staff.
tomorrow. I have we can talk about what's going on this week, and then here's my agenda. So tomorrow I have a meeting with the new, I'm not sure what we're called. I want to say the finance team, but I don't want to confuse it with the finance committee. And that's at 10:30 tomorrow with Sean McFadden, Sue Bailey, Karen Summit, Debbie, and Amy. And I'll bring up the whole debt, issue and kind of field it with them if we can kind of set some money aside for that debt payment. And I will ask about the treatment plant, how I can handle that. Do you just want to go through this quickly, what's happening? This week with this extreme cold weather, our crews were out assisting residents with frozen pipes. We're trying to help everybody in town that we can. Jay helped me with the key policy, the budget, the gate situation, Roy, Truck 5, and we are going to starting to look at a new service on Walnut Street. There's going to be a new house in there, and we're going to have to look at where the water main is, Scott. I think it's way up
Walnut
the
Street,
road.
or is that Walnut Drive? Is that where Robin lives?
That's where Green.
Walnut,
That's
I
a
might
drive.
I might have it wrong.
not
It's one-
street, yeah.
I don't know where the water main is, but I think it's pretty far up. So Jay will be looking at where the water main is in there.
That's a private road. I think
Well, they
that's a
would pay.
service that runs
Yeah.
up there. It's not a main.
Yeah, it's only a
I think a 2-inch service
2
runs
inch,
up.
I'm pretty sure we had trouble
The
there, we had a
Randalls.
break way back there out
Yeah.
Roland's house.
Yeah.
And had to run down there to Falls for some reason down, I was at Randy's house.
It's
Might have
one
been-
past Falls, right?
Yeah, Randy's
What?
is the one
It's one
past
past
Paul.
Falls.
But I
It's
think
all,
that,
it's
yeah,
all
oh,
Lord's or
yeah.
I think
Yeah, it
that's
would
a
have been
2-inch
And there's one at the
service.
very end.
Yeah, exactly.
Dead
Yeah.
end.
They're
Jay,
gonna put a house there now, though,
Yeah,
I
they
think,
are.
to the left,
he
isn't it?
came in and, so Jay will be following that and kind of figuring out if
Right.
we can hook him up or who's, he'll have to
Yeah,
bring the
yeah,
line
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
So the meetings this week was the Board of Selectmen. Tonight we're meeting here. Tomorrow I'm meeting with Debbie Egan. Tomorrow Jay and I are going to attend the pre-construction meeting for the Rowley Country Club with the town planner. And Friday, Jay and I are going to meet with PRS on the Phase 2, the new phone system, and start preparing for PRS to come into the next board meeting and talk about our IT support for the treatment plant to this building, connecting them two up. The old business we gotta talk about with Jay is that gentleman up in Newbury that wants to connect to our town water, Scott, and we were looking for you last month for guidance here.
Last
I mean,
month.
last meeting.
Last meeting.
Sorry, last
We
meeting.
didn't get
Who is that?
Rowley Road, he wants to go, was it 800 feet, was it?
Well, right now, the
Something underneath the
residents,
marsh and have, get Rowley water.
right now, the residents up in Newbury along the marsh there are pumping in water by a truck because they have salt water coming into their drinking
Yeah,
water.
I heard something about this. They have issues up in there.
And we kinda wanted to get your,
They have
yeah.
issues.
We had someone come before us, Scott,
Yeah,
and I was on the board,
Yeah.
looking for running down on the marsh.
yeah.
said you,
Real costly.
Well, that was the
We
one
can
time.
provide
that-
them,
What
but they
this
just
guy
don't
want-
hook up.
Because at the last meeting, what Jay was saying, that, this guy pays all costs, but he wanted to know if we'd be interested, or whatever, if he paid all the costs, if we would supply him with water. But I don't know, that's why I want to do it on it, because I don't know anything about what the protocol is for outside town.
Yeah, well,
The only other
Yeah,
one we
the
have
thing
is White
is-
Farms, I guess.
yeah, well, the town of Rowley is not obligated to supply another town with water. It's not saying that it couldn't be done, you know.
But do we want to get into
an
it, what I'm
agreement
saying?
with another town, you know,
Maintenance,
it would,
et cetera. Who's gonna be
I
responsible?
remember one time, Jack, when we had someone come in, I think it wasn't from another town, he wanted to run it above ground. It was McHugh down Stackyard Road through the woods.
Yeah, that was one, but I'm pretty
That
sure
was
we had
one,
one that
yeah.
wanted to go across that marsh, and we kind of persuaded him to look for a well.
Oh, that was up back.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was up back, yeah, that's right, that's
Yeah,
right,
it was-
yeah.
Was a couple of them we had.
That was up
come
by
across.
Wilson Pond.
That was one,
That's the one,
right, the
yeah.
guy sold at the
yeah,
end, went
yeah.
to Florida
Yeah.
piece.
We talked in
He wanted to
putting in
cut
a
over.
well,
Yeah,
after he saw the cost of,
yeah,
what
Well,
it
it
would
was a lot
cost
cheaper than
to put in a main.
so, right.
I guess what the guy's problem is all their wells are contaminated with salt.
Yeah,
And they're trying
Yeah.
they were basically
yeah,
just trying to find out if
well.
they paid all the things, if we'd be interested, but I didn't know.
Years ago, you remember the whole whoop-de-woo about Stackyard Road. Remember that, Jack?
Yeah.
With the Hopkins and down there on Stackyard Road, you know, it was a battle for years, and there's still no
Yeah.
town
Well,
water.
we just one owner down there.
Yeah.
What was his name? He's passed away now. But we even, well, way before, I was only a kid when that one. Hopkins was on the board of selectmen, and they got him in conflict, and it
Yeah.
was a big
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
And we laid pipe.
yeah. they
Truckloads
put
of pipe.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah, yeah.
Then we
Had-
cut it back and ended up
Had
with
purchased
station
the
one.
pipe. Had purchased the pipe and everything, and then there was a
Come
then
on.
there was a squabble about
Squabble.
what
And
side of the road you're gonna put it on.
Yeah. It was
And
voted
like,
to do it, town
Yeah,
meeting.
it was.
It was voted to do it.
What would happen if there were more Newbury residents that wanted to tie in as well? I mean, like, how would
You
you
know,
decide, pick and choose what
it
you'll
would be.
be?
That's it. Once you do one of them,
That's
yeah.
right, and then we're stuck
Where we
with
go?
water breaks
Open a
and
floodgate.
maintenance, I mean, we
Yeah,
gotta get.
that's right.
It's because,
That's a good point.
see,
doing this
wanna
on
get
our
into
own.
well, this is the
Well,
thing,
I'm-
is Newbury doesn't have a water department. I
Now the
feel
new
it does,
report.
but Newbury doesn't.
Yeah.
Newbury's all,
I think they go up High Road though.
Well,
So
they,
we
no,
could go
there's
on
parts
and
of
on,
it.
To the
Go on,
back
go
of
on,
it.
or they
Green
took
Tree
the
and all
Newbury
that.
report.
Straight
You know,
Forest.
they're on
New
Route
report.
one, on
So
the
they
main
can
road.
do it. The problem is that they don't wanna pay the
Yeah.
bill, then you can't.
Yeah, you see the hydrants, you know, we
That's
can-
the
end of it.
That's a
You
good
can't
point,
put a
there's no,
Yeah.
lien on their
there's no
taxes,
need for
everything.
collection if they
Right,
don't pay.
right. Well, we do
I
have,
know when I was on the
have
level, we did
some
training.
houses that are
Ponds and-
actually in
Yeah,
Ipswich that get town water. Their property is actually in Ipswich, but their water is accessed through Rowley. It was done years ago, White Farms,
Yeah, but where the houses, there's houses there too,
behind, yeah, Prospect Street, down the end.
Yeah, there was somebody came in a couple of years ago.
Trying to get in
Yeah.
there. Because we have a couple of accounts that are in Ipswich. The houses are actually, they pay Ipswich taxes, but pay Rowley water.
Yeah, the,
Yeah, Chris
Great
Strode,
Farm didn't want to pay.
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
had trouble there with a leak back a
Yep.
few years ago.
Yeah.
up there.
But we've never had any problem. You know, we usually don't have any problems till till something happens or they don't want to pay the bill or, But we've never had any problems. But I think in the future, you're going to see these towns, there's some of the towns that don't have water, okay, that don't have a town water supply, because it's such a, water is very important.
Oh, it is.
Very important. And I often wonder is what they pay in homeowners insurance with no fire protection, no fire plow in your house. It's gotta be huge. That'd be huge. But
Do you want to set another day for a meeting, or do you want to try to,
We do it Monday night.
do you want to go Monday night?
You guys?
that's fine with me.
Okay, here, at
Yeah.
5 o'clock?
That's fine with
Okay.
me. We gotta get this. Look at this.
So the Monday night meeting with the selectmen is no longer.
Right.
We gotta
So we got
get
Monday
They
this.
night.
told us, they told me to cancel it,
All right.
at this point.
We gotta get this budget going.
Yeah, so
Gotta
anything
get
you
this
want
budget
to add, during the week, you know where to find me, and I'll bring the next draft, and
Okay.
we'll see where it goes.
Is Monday?
All right, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Fourth.
I
I'll
could
second.
go along, though,
All in
Jim.
favor? Aye.
Negative one.
Five zero.
All right.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.